Now call this hearing to order of the Blue Ribbon Committee. This will be our 19th hearing. And I'd like to ask the Director General, Mr. Rudy Kimbo, to tell us who are the senators present and who are our guests today.
Your Honor, if I may proceed. Your Honor, if I may proceed.
Please go ahead.
Senator present, we have the Minority Leader, Senator Franklin M. Drilon, and of our resource speakers, we have Mr. George Mendoza, formerly with the Procurement Service of DBM. From the Office of the Ombudsman, Warren Rex Leong, Overall Deputy Ombudsman. From the Commission on Audit, Attorney Michael G. Aguinaldo, Chairperson. Rodora Ugay, Maria Carmelita Enriquez, and Miss Cheryl Tabangcura, their audit team leader, supervising auditor, and another supervising auditor. From Asia United Bank, AUB, Mr. Jemar VR, branch manager. From Banco de Oro, Maria Cristine Leonardo, branch manager. From Union Bank of the Philippines, Mr. Conrado Bustillos, branch manager. From Creotech Philippines and other EMS companies, Mr. Ferdinand Ferrer. From Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation, Mr. Wang Tsuyen, Mohit Dargani, Twinkle Dargani, Justine Garado, Lincoln Ong, Rizal Grace Mago, Ira Marie Moscoso. We also have their outsourced or external auditors, Mr. Jeff Mariano and Ms. Iluminada Sebial. From Philippine Pharma Wealth Inc., Attorney Maylene Villanueva. From Philippine Blue Cross, Mr. Benito Techico. From Tigerfield Marketing Corporation, Mr. Albert C., President. Mr. Stevenson T.C., Mr. Ching Jin Ke, both are directors, and Mr. Brian Santos Ong, Corporate Secretary Treasurer. We also have the former Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, Attorney Wendell Avisado. We have former Presidential Economic Advisor, Mr. Michael Yang, also known as Yang Hongming. We have Mr. Raymond Abrea, President and CEO, Asian Consulting Group. And we have Dr. Anthony Tony Liachon, MD. We sent a subpoena to Rose Nonolin, but this afternoon, her lawyer sent a letter seeking that she be excused because she has COVID. She had tested positive for COVID, among other gastro illnesses and body malaise. So those are the people who are currently present, Mr. Chair.
Should a medical certificate in behalf of Ms. Nono Lim. It's quite extraordinary that every time we have a hearing, Ms. Nono Lim refuses to testify for some reason or another. First it was a typhoon, and now she suddenly had COVID.
Yes, Your Honor.
Medical certificate to accompany that?
A medical certificate has accompanied the letter. It was issued by Maria Millicent Carino. She is a laparoscopic and hepatopancreatobiliary surgeon. And she says that Ms. Nonolin is for admission for further workup, chest x-ray, CT scan, creatinine, CBC, urinalysis, and other tests. And they are trying, and she will also, the doctor also says that she will be referred to an infectious disease specialist and an internal medicine/pulmonology doctor, Your Honor.
Hindi ka ba nagtataka na ang sakit ng ay COVID pero meron siyang laparoscopic surgeon? Ang dami-daming specialty na ginagamit. I think we better call that surgeon. I don't think we should just take the word of any surgeon and give a certificate to somebody who is very much needed in a very vital investigation in this country. I think we should call him at the next hearing. At the next hearing,
Her,
because
her,
I
Your
don't.
Honor. Yes, yes, we will, Your Honor.
Dr. Lechon is there. Dr. Lechon, what do you think of that medical certificate? If that is a medical certificate, if one has COVID, does she need a laparoscopic surgeon?
I think, sir, we need the right man for the right job. And if this is COVID, then at least an internal medicine practitioner or an infectious disease specialist should be called because they are credible in terms of the workup and management of this case.
But it
If,
would appear that the infectious disease expert is going to be called after all these so-called examinations. Can you repeat again what is going to be done to her, Mr. No,
Kimbo, Your Honor.
yes.
Okay, page 1 is a medical certificate issued by Maria Millicent P. Carino. It says, this is to certify that patient Rose Nono Lin, 39 years old female, was seen and evaluated today via teleconsult for recurrent hypogastric pain accompanied with back pain. Patient has body malaise,
Just a moment.
productive cough.
Excuse me. I want to emphasize the fact this is teleconsult, huh?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the back pain, which is the normal. I will ask Dr. Liachon. Back pain is a very, very convenient excuse because it's usually very hard to find out what causes back pain. Would that be correct, Tony Liachon?
That's correct, sir. But the main problem, sir, is that we don't have the exact history of the patient, and we don't know the chief complaint. It might be the incidental finding because there are other coexisting problems with the patient, and the hypogastric pain and the other pains may be the reason why Ms. Nono Lim consulted the surgeon, but it was also stated in that particular letter that the patient would be referred to an internist or infectious disease. So perhaps the doctor might be in a position to explain the workups initially.
Your Honor, if I may finish the letter so that a complete picture is obtained by Dr. Liachon, Your Honor.
Please go ahead.
Patient has body malaise, productive cough, sore throat, hoarseness with intermittent chest discomfort. Impression. Number 1, COVID-19 positive with possible pneumonia. Number 2, T/C, recurrent epiploic appendagitis. Rule out acute appendicitis. Number 3, T/C, chronic calculus cholecystitis.
Okay.
Cystitis. This was issued January 28, and her ad lab report is was released January 26.
Okay, sir. Sir, I got the picture already based on the history. This might be two separate problems. The first one would be representative of a patient with COVID based on the flu-like manifestations, cough, body fatigue. So this may refer to a possible Omicron illness based on symptomatology. Now, the abdominal symptoms may be the reason, sir, for the consultation with the laparoscopic surgeon. Usually, it's a surgeon, sir, that specializes in hepatobiliary conditions, and that's the reason for this one. And I think based also on that letter, Ms. Nonoli will be referred to an infectious disease specialist. So from the history, sir, that's my clinical impression.
Well, I'm just worried about the fact that every time she's called to testify, there's always some reason, and now all of a sudden you have a laparoscopic surgeon giving a medical certificate saying she has what seems to be common malady these days, Omicron affected COVID virus. Now, I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not willing to give the benefit of the doubt to doctors who might be friendly enough to provide for a medical certificate. And I just warn these doctors that they give us a false medical certificate, they would be responsible for it. Would that be a fair assumption or a fair conclusion on our part, Dr. Liachon?
I think so, sir. That should be supplemented by workups, and especially if the patient would also turn out to be COVID positive, based on either a RT-PCR or a rapid antigen test. So I think that would be fair. And the second one is the workup, whether this patient has gallbladder stones leading to cholecystitis, and with the hypogastric pain, so we need to rule out also urinary tract infection and some problems referable to the reproductive organ. I
Well,
think this,
let me just give you my own conclusion as a quack doctor. Patient is a candidate for Congresswoman of Quezon City and has been known to be campaigning every day, spending a lot of money to try and get the elections for Congress. And that her husband has been missing for a long time. And when he found out about her husband, he suddenly stopped attending sessions here. Hindi na siya nag-attend. At kung ano na lang nilarason. At kung makakapagkampanya siya, at kung itong hearing na ito hindi niya ma-attendan, napakadali sa isang tao may pera na nagkakaanak ng kotse sa kanyang garahe. Every time she looks at the garahe, may bagong kotse. Nakakapagtaka lang na hindi mo maalis sa akin na magduda bilang isang quack doctor na biglang irarason na hindi siya makakarating dito. So, Director General, would you please check on this doctor so-called to find out whether in fact this is an adequate representation of what is happening? Because it seems
Yes, Your Honor. We will communicate, Your Honor.
the medical certificate was issued only the day before the hearing, di ba? Would that be
The
correct?
medical certificate was issued
On the day of the hearing?
January 28th. No, I'm sorry. The medical certificate was issued on January 26th. The date of release of the RT-PCR test was January 26 in the 8:27 in the morning, and the letter from her lawyer is dated January 27, Your Honor.
And you know, of course, that we postponed the last hearing, right?
Yes, Your Honor. We received the letter 2:41 p.m.
And when was the hearing supposed to be? What day was the hearing that we postponed? That was last.
That was the Odette typhoon, Your Honor. That was in the aftermath of the Odette typhoon.
That's correct. And the excuse was that she had relatives who got affected by the typhoon in her home province in Panay. Is that correct?
She was in Guimaras. She said that she was in Guimaras at that time.
Well, Guimaras was affected, but not that heavily affected. But in as much as these are the hearings last days, in as much as that her husband was finally caught by this committee by way of a document that we were able to secure that shows siya pala ay financial manager at lalo na nung sinabi ng presidente walang makapagsagot doon sa mga direktor na paano siya nalagay na financial manager na wala naman siyang kinalaman from the very beginning. Hindi masagot ni Dargani, ni Mohit, hindi masagot ni Twinkle, hindi masagot ni Lincoln Ong, at hindi masagot ng ibang mga kasamahan nila. Ang sumagot ay yung presidente nila. At anong sabi, Rudy, do you remember?
If I remember correctly, sinabi, Your Honor, na siya ay inappoint doon para protektahan or masiguro yung investment ni Michael Yang, Your Honor.
Magadilig, lumalabas, kaya siya nagtatago, masasabit siya doon kay Michael Yang dahil siya ang tikatanggap ng perang nahahakot nila dito sa Pharmally. Would that be a correct conclusion?
Is that question addressed to me, Your Honor?
That would be a correct conclusion, wouldn't it? Ngayon lang lumabas eh. Nagtatago.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ngayon bigla lumabas, siya pala ang tika-kolekta, tikakuha ng pera ni Michael Yang doon dahil pag binabayaran ng gobyerno, siya kaagad ang kukuha sapagkat ang nakalagay doon sa corporate. Do you have the document there? I think you should read it again. The corporate document says he can take money anytime from the corporation. Is that correct?
If I may summarize, the authority given to him was to deposit and to withdraw and to exercise the powers that are concomitant with ownership, Your Honor.
Mga kapatid, anytime makakakuha siya ng pera, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yung perang binabayad ng PSDBM, makukuha niya.
He had access, Your Honor.
At walang pasubali, wala man lang umamin doon sa mga kasamahan niya kung ilan na nakuha ang pera niya. Tatalagin natin sila mamaya para masiguro natin kung alam niya kung ilan na nakuha ang pera.
Yes, Your Honor.
At siya yung asawa na matagal na nagtatago sa Dubai. Ang una, meron ring tinatawag na COVID. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
At sinasabi later on, nagninegosyo doon. Tama po ba yun?
Meron daw yata pogo doon, sir, Your Honor.
Tapos yung tinawag natin ulit, ang sabi, may COVID na naman. Tama po ba yan?
Nagka-COVID po at na-ospital muli po sa ibang sakit naman po, Your Honor.
So lumalabas, nadiling lang tayo nitong taong ito, ng asawa ni Grace Nonolim. Katulad ni Rose Nonolim, katulad ng panlinlang sa atin na bigla na lang nakakakot siya ng bago na maganda, si Rose Nonolim sa kanyang garahe. Tama ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Natatandaan mo kung ano yung mga coaching nakikita ni Rose Nonolim sa garahe niya? Meron siyang Cadillac natin, di ba?
Your Honor, hindi ko matiyak pero ang naalala ko po, Your Honor, mga mahal yung sasakyan kasi merong mga imported na sasakyan.
May mga Mercedes-Benz ata, di ba?
Ang naalala ko, Your Honor, Chrysler. Hinahanap ko ang listahan, Your Honor.
Pakitignan nyo na para sigurado. Dahil talagang lungkot-lungkot at hinahinala ang ginagawa nitong si Rose Nonolim, kakandidato pa ng Kongreso. At nakikita ko, pagka nagkandidato ng Kongreso, katulad ng marami, nagko-congresswoman para maproteksyonan yung mga nakaw na pag-ibig, hindi pala, nakaw na galing sa gobyerno. Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
At ang lumalabas dito ay, pwede mo palakihan mo lang para mabasa ko mabuti. At ang lumalabas dito, ang mga kotse lumalabas sa kanyang garahe, nanganganak ay Toyota Alphard na nagkakahalaga ng 3.9 million, Lexus LX 450D, nagkakahalaga ng 8.8 million, Cadillac Escalade na nagkakahalaga ng 8.9 million, Land Rover, Range Rover, 11.9 million, Toyota Land Cruiser, 4.8 million. Sa makatwid, ang suma total ay 38.3 million. At ito ay nagagaling sa ilang mga bahay sa Naray Street, Forbes Park, yung isa sa Cypress Street sa Dasmariñas Village, yung isa sa Avocado Street, Dasmariñas Village, yung isa uli sa Naray Street, number 14, magkapit-bahay pa sila ni Michael Young, at yung isa, number 18A Street, Paradise Village, Quezon City, kung saan magkakasama sila ng mga nawawala na katulad nila Uson at saka nitong si Gerald Cruz. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Director General?
Yes, Your Honor. At pati po sila Gerald Cruz at saka sila Custodio, Your Honor.
At hindi ba tayo nagtataka na ayaw pakita nitong mga ito? Katulad ayaw magpakita ng asawa ni Nonolim, ganun rin itong dalawang ito na matagal lang hindi nagpapakita, ang nakakahimala. Walang tulong ang NBI, walang tulong ang mga pulis na mahuli itong dalawang tao ito na kasama sa lahat ng hanap buhay na malalaki ni Michael Young na nagtatago. Walang iba kundi si Gerald Cruz, na Executive Assistant ni Michael Young, shareholder ng multiple corporation sale as DCLA, Yangtze, Business Beyond Limits na ginawa para sa girlfriend ni Mojid Dargani at kasama pa si Mago. Ayaw ko si Mago, girlfriend ng kanino, pero nagkaroon siya ng share doon. At pati na rin itong OPC, DFA graciously provided us with the photos. No? Si Jason Uson, na may milyon-milyon share sa mga kumpanya, kung saan naroon din si Rose Nonolim at Michael Young. Napag-alaman po namin si Mr. Uson po pala ay umalis na ng Pilipinas patungong Japan mga 3 buwan na nakalipas no September 2021. Malinaw na sa gitna ng investigasyon siya ay umalis ng Pilipinas katulad ng asawa ni Rose Nonolim na si Lin Weishong na kung magkamisan nasasangkot pa sa droga. Ewan ko kung totoo yan na being fair, pero pinagkakabalan si Alan Lin. Pero siya sinasangkot yung kanyang pangalan, pero magmula nang nag-umpisa tayo, hindi na makita itong mga taong ito. At ganoon rin ang girlfriend na si Sofia Custodio, girlfriend nitong si Mohit Dargani na binigyan presidente na naman ng Business BR Limits katulad ng binigay ni Dargani sa kanyang kapatid na si Twinkle Dargani na maging presidente nitong Pharmally at pagkatapos binigawan niyang presidente si Shirley Custodio, Sophia Custodio na dating flight attendant na biglang nagkaroon ng mga kontrata umaabot ng 38 million pesos sa PSDBM. Tama po ba yan, Mr. DBM? Kung natatandaan nyo, yan ang nakuha natin, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Ang mga hindi po sumisipot na inisyuhan po natin, Your Honor, ng sumpina ay si Gerald Cruz, Jason Uson, Sofia Custodio, Dennis Manalastas at saka si Christopher Lloyd Lau na hindi lang po sumpina ngunit arrest order po ang inisyu laban sa kanya.
Baka din si Christopher Lloyd Lau ay hindi na nagpapakita sapagkat takot na siya mahuli. Sapagkat siya inappoint ni President Duterte na siya mga siwa nitong PSDBM at nung masabat na at makuha na itong 9.2 billion di umano ay hindi na siya nagpakita, nag-apply na siya sa ombudsman at pag-apply niya sa ombudsman, natakot siya dahil may ligalig doon, umalis siya at ang nalagay yung kanyang assistant na walang iba kundi ang deputy ombudsman natin ngayon, ang kagalang-galang na si
Warren Rex Leong, Your Honor.
Warren S. Leong. Kaya susun at dikit-dikit ang mga nakikita natin dito. Akala nila hindi natin masisilip yan. Pero inuulit ko lang ito para makita ng mga nakikinig at nanonood kung gaano kabagsik at kung gaano kahasik at talagang karumalduman ang kakapalan at ng apog nito mga tao ito na akala nila maloloko nila ang bayang Pilipino palagi. Tama kaya yung aking haka-haka na yun? Pero ko tama naman siguro. Now,
Opo, Your Honor.
therefore, I want you to check over that, doctor, because everybody comes in here. You have fake accountants. Yung accountant na si Illuminada, walang alam. Di ba? Tama ba yan? Pero mo, naglalagay siya ng accounting term, hindi niya alam kung ano nangyayari. Tama ba yan, Mr. Raymond Abreu? Alam ko, nahihiya ka.
Mr. Chairman.
Kapwa mo accountant, pero di ba mga narinig mo, pag tinatanong siya, hindi niya alam kung paano niya nakita yung mga papel na yan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Bawal na bawal yan sa accounting. E gano'n rin yung isang kinuha na external auditor na di umano external auditor pero hindi pala external auditor, hindi rin nakakakuha ng mga dokumento ng Pharmally. At pag tanong mo si Dargani, hindi raw niya nakikita at nung pinalabas natin siya para hanapin, si Lincoln Ong at saka si Dargani, pinalabas natin para hanapin yung mga kahong-kahong papel, ayaw lumabas, hindi raw nila makita. Tama ba yan, Mr. Director General?
Yes, Your Honor.
Samantalang yung tao, talagang nililin lang ang buong bansa. Tama ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sa kabila ng pagbigay natin na si Twinkle, pinalabas natin, hindi dahil tayo naaawa, ngunit nakikiusap lang yung nanay niya. Hindi ako naniniwalang nasisiraan ng bait si Twinkle. Pero siyempre, naawa ko sa kanya dahil ginamit siya ng kanyang kapatid na gawing presidente, binigyan ng napakagarang kotse na 25 million pesos worth na Lamborghini. Ang alam ko lang, Hamburghini. Pero wala akong nakikita ng Lamborghini. Pero siya ay nagkaroon ng Lamborghini at nakikita natin na pinabayaan na nga natin makauwi. At ngayon naman, ang hinihiling, lumabas naman si Mohi Dargani para makipaglibing. E samantalang hindi pa nga binabayaran yung mga taxes dito sa Lamborghini. Tama ba yan, Mr. Director General?
Wala pa po tayong record, Your Honor, ng donor's tax doon po sa Lamborghini, Your Honor.
Okay, baka
Wala
doon
pong
sa
sinasubmit.
Lamborghini meron. Sa Lamborghini wala.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ito hanggang ngayon, nagbigay na ba sa atin ng BIR at ng COA ng kanilang report na pinangako sa atin hindi lang isang beses, 2 beses, 3 beses. Tinanong ko pa doon sa budget hearing kung ibibigay nila yan at tinatanong rin ni Senator Dillon kung nagbigay na ang BIR ng kanilang preliminary report. Meron na ba naibigay sa atin?
Your Honor, ang BIR hindi pa po sumasagot pero ang COA po sumagot na at meron silang schedule po na naibigay. Ang pangako yata nila ay matatapos lahat-lahat sa katapusan po ng Marso, Your Honor.
Baka akala nila pag nagtapos na itong sa January 29, ang hearing dito sa Senate, 29 ba? Ang katapusan ng sessions natin ay tapos na ang Senado. Ang Senado hanggang January, hanggang July, hanggang June 29. hindi ako nagkakamali, ang adjournment ng Senado. So, hahabulin pa natin sila hanggang June 29 at makukulong pa si Ginoong Moy Dargani at saka si Lincoln Ong at baka iba pa kung hindi sisipot. Kaya kung hindi sisipot si Nonolin, ang gusto ko ay mag-file tayo ng motion to arrest at papuntahin yan because she refuses to attend the hearing here at gano'n rin si Lincoln, itong si Lin Wei Song at saka itong si
Sila Jason po, Your Honor.
Jason ko, si Sofia Custodio, at saka si Gerald Cruz, at saka si Dennis Manalastas, at saka Christopher Lloyd Lau.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can we issue an order to that effect already?
Your Honor, we have the order existing for Mr. Christopher Lloyd Lau, but we can draft the orders for the other for Your Honor.
So,
Upon motion and
there's a
approved by
motion
and seconded
before
by
of
a
Senator Dillon, if I remember, and Senator Lacson, and Senator Santiveros, and Senator Pangilinan. The chair now orders that they be arrested to make sure that they appear in the hearing next time. So ordered. The Secretary General is directed to the Director General is directed to make sure that arrangements are be made with the OSA and with law enforcement authorities, in the hope that the law enforcement authorities will see the wisdom of what we're doing because they themselves are pillage. Sila mismo ang tinatabaan ng kabuktutan na ginagawa nito mga taong ito.
Your Honor, in your citation for contempt, you need the concurrence, Your Honor, of another member. Thank you.
Senator Dillon is there. May I request Senator Dillon to indicate whether he concurs? The Minority Floor Leader, please.
He's connected to the meeting, Your Honor.
Maybe he's having trouble with the second. Senator Frank, Minority Floor Leader, please. If you have any objections, please say so. I do not want to issue a wrong order here.
His mic is on mute, but we will text his staff member, Your Honor.
Kindly text him. In the meantime, the order has been given and we're just waiting for a concurrence from him or call some other senator who will address. I will call up the other senators like Senator Pangilinan or Senator Ontiveros or Senator Lacson and the others.
Your Honor, if I may interrupt, the staff of Senator Drilon has requested for a 1-minute suspension so that they can call on him, Your Honor.
All right. The request of Senator Drilon, we are going to call for a suspension of the session for a Senate minute. Session is suspended. Secretary General Senator Drilon is there, and Director General Kimbo, Senator Drilon is already there. As I pointed out, we have cited them in contempt. The following for not attending in spite of our letters to Secretary Locsin to have General Cruz arrested in Japan, and also permanent resident visa holder. We have communicated to the Department of Immigration and the Department of Foreign Affairs because he's in Dubai, and of course we have now knowledge where this fellow Gerard Cruz. We have not seen him, and Rose Nono, who seems to be conducting all kinds of excuses, and certainly Christopher Lloyd Lau, who I understand is in Davao del Sur hiding. I have it on good authority, and also this fellow Dennis Manalastas, whom Senator Lacson has been looking for the last several months. So I issued a contempt order asking that they be arrested and be brought to the Senate, and would appreciate it if it is seconded by the Minority Floor Leader, so we can forward it to the Senate President so he can proceed right away. And I also have Senator Risa Ontiveros here on the line, and I'll put her on the line so you can be heard. Risa, you're on the line. We just had a motion to declare them in contempt. I believe Senator Jordan is going to second. Would you concur as well?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Yes,
Yes,
I
Senator.
I concur with the observations of the chairman and that indeed these witnesses have shown disrespect to the processes of the committee. Appropriate letters have been issued to them inviting them to appear. The subpoena has been issued. I assume they have totally disregarded the process of this committee, and I second the motion of the chairman to enforce the rules of the Blue Ribbon Committee and I second the motion to declare these persons in contempt. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Jerome, Minority Floor Leader. Senator Risa Ontiveros, do you concur as well?
Yes, Chairman, I concur in the seconding of the letter in support of the motion of the chair.
Thank you very much. That being said, the Director General is hereby ordered to send it to the proper authorities and forward this to the Senate President so that the proper courses of action may be taken so that they can be brought in to the Senate premises. And this is not a punishment. This is just asserting and requiring that people respect the processes of the Senate. Otherwise, we will become a paper tiger. And that is part and parcel of the equal branch of government. We do not lock up people to punish them. They are locked up because they refuse to accept the invitation to appear on a vital matter that should solve the problems of our country, help solve the problems of our country, particularly during this pandemic. So ordered. And thank you, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Drilon. Now I shall proceed. Yes. Now we shall proceed to go and call Mr. Abrea is in Raymond Abrea, our expert from the accountancy profession, has been very helpful to us. I've asked him to appear here so that he can explain further the kind of discrepancies that we discovered from the records that we have declassified in connection with certain corporations like Acme or Evermore and others. Secretary Abrea, Senator Mr. Abrea, thank you very much. I know you're in Hawaii. Please go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, nasa Boston na po ako.
Nasa Boston na po kayo.
Opo.
And boy, they travel very fast. I hope I know you'll be accepted to Harvard, and
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you very much. I think you'll do honor to the Philippines in Harvard. Go ahead, please.
Your Honor, if before Mr. Abreu proceeds, may I enumerate please the names so that we for the issuance of the contempt citations, Your Honor,
Please
if
go
I
ahead.
may proceed.
Yes, go ahead.
Gerald Cruz, Jason Uson, Sofia Custodio, and Dennis Manalastas. Are the names complete, Your Honor?
No, you still have the former Undersecretary Christopher Lloyd Lau was refused.
There is a standing arrest order, Your Honor, issued for
In that case, it is hereby reiterated. It was iterated, now we're reiterating it. And also, Rose Nonolim.
yes, Your Honor. We will make the corresponding orders, Your Honor.
Thank you. One can campaign, and she should have time to come around. I have not campaigned myself, and I'm running for a national office in the Senate, and I have not campaigned because of my duties. And duty to the country comes first before your personal interest. Raymond Abrea, do your duty to the country, if you will. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Please go ahead and testify.
Mr. Chairman, so I'm sharing now the slide. So base po sa mga dokumento na forward ng ating Senate Blue Ribbon Committee at sa mga dokumento na hindi na bigay ng Pharmally at ng kanilang mga officers, ito po ang ating lumalabas na estimated total deficiency na maaari naman pong pagtibayin ng ongoing na BIR audit, Mr. Chairman. So umabot na po sa 6.3 billion ang estimated total deficiency, kasama na po ang penalties, ang surcharge at interest. Ang major assessment po o items po nakasali dito, yung 7.3 billion unsupported purchases, kasama na rin po dyan yung ibang expenses at donation na hindi pa rin po na suportahan o nagkaroon ng mga dokumento para pagtibayin kung ito ay valid or allowable ng ating tax code. Then mamaya po ipapakita din
Walang
natin
gana
na
lang po.
base po.
Dali po lamang. Pag sinabi niya
Yes,
total
Mr.
tax
Chairman.
efficiency, yan ang kakulangan nilang dapat bayaran sa BIR. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
At pag sinabi niyo 7.3 billion unsupported purchases, yan ang hindi nila mapakita yung dokumento kung saan galing nila binili yung pera, saan galing yung perang pinambili. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Salamat po.
So, base po sa ating mga previous hearings, binigyan po natin sila ng pagkakataon na isumite yung mga dokumento. Pero ang naging basihan po ng mga assessments na ito, yung mga information din na nanggaling sa BIR, sa mga sinumite ng Bureau of Internal Revenue. At mapapansin din po natin, meron din pong karagdagang 1.3 billion na undeclared sales o hindi na deklarang sales sa PSDBM. Ito po ay base doon sa kanilang delivery receipt na sinumite naman ng PSDBM at kinumpara sa nasa audited financial statements. At dahil doon sa 1.3 billion na hindi na deklarang sales, lumalabas meron din hindi na deklara o kulang yung inventaryo na supposedly ay ibinenta sa PSDBM. At kasama din po dyan ang 3.9 billion na kinlaim na vatable purchases pero wala din po mga supporting documents, kaya ito ay sinama natin sa assessment, Mr. Chairman. Ito po yung tinutukoy ko na
Go ahead po.
Base po doon sa delivery receipt na sinubmit ng PSDBM, umabot po sa 8.8 billion ang na-deliver na goods or binenta sa PSDBM ng Pharmally, pero sa kanila pong audited financial statements, nasa 7.5 billion lamang po ang kanilang nadeklara. At ito po ay naging basihan ng ating 1.3 billion unreported sales ng 2020 at 1.3 billion unreported purchases kasama din po yung dineklara nilang ending inventory pero hindi naman po natin na nakita sa warehouse o walang dokumento na nagpapatunay na meron pong inventaryong natira mula sa kanilang mga suppliers. Then, kung maalala nyo po sa previous hearings, pinresenta po natin yung sinasabi nating unsupported purchases kung saan nabanggit natin ang kanilang major suppliers na si Acme at si Evermore. Ito po ay base sa summary list of purchases at importation na nanggaling sa Bureau of Internal Revenue, Mr. Chairman. Pero base po sa ating pag-aaral ng mga dokumento na napadala sa atin, dito po lumalabas, Mr. Chairman, na yung tinutukoy na Acme at Evermore na supplier ay mga bagong kumpanya din po na narehistro lamang kasabay sa same na buwan, kasabay ng Pharmally noong 2019. At hindi rin po wala din po tayong dokumento nakita kung sila po ay talagang lehitimong supplier dahil wala din po silang record na sa base po dun sa isinumite ng BIR, wala din po silang record. So meron 3 billion na purchases mula kay Evermore at ang lumalabas na partners base sa kanilang registration noong September 17, 2019, Mr. Chairman, ay ang mga nagngangalang Teresa Naindre at Sylvia Gerange. At sa Acme Pinnacle naman po, Melanie Busime at Roxanne Serintas na nag-supply sila ng 273 million purchases. Ulitin ko lamang, Mr. Chairman, sila po ay narehistro lang din noong September 17, 2019, dalawang linggo pagkatapos marehistro si Pharmally. At base po sa kanilang registration, nai-amend lang po na sila ay supplier ng medical supplies noong September 24, 2020 lamang din po. Ito po yung supplier na hindi binanggit ni Pharmally pero lumabas sa records ni BIR. Pag pumunta naman po tayo dun sa Tiger Field na binanggit ni Pharmally pero lumalabas po sa records ng BIR at ng barangay, si Green Trends ay may 94 open cases, Mr. Chairman. Nung huling hearing po na ako po ay nakaalis na nung tinanong nyo kung ano ibig sabihin ng open cases. Ang ibig sabihin po ng open cases para sa ating mga kababayan at sa lahat ng taxpayers, alam po nila yan. Ito ay ang mga mandatory tax returns na hindi na-file sa BIR. Kaya lumalabas sa system ni BIR, open cases po ang tawag doon. So si Green Trends po mula nung narehistro siya, wala po mga tax returns na na-file kaya umabot ng 94 open cases. Kasama na rin po ang annual income tax return na hindi na-file ni Green Trends. At sabi po ng barangay, sa kanilang barangay certification, wala din pong Green Trends doon sa registered address, Mr. Chairman. So, lumalabas po doon sa kinlaim na 9 million na binenta ni Green Trends kay Tigerfield at binenta naman ni Tigerfield ng 12 million kay Pharmally at binenta ni Pharmally kay PSDBM na 13.9 million, lumalabas po walang record yung Green Trends, Mr. Chairman. Samantalang si Tigerfield na kinlaim nila, hindi naman din po dineklara sa BIR si Tigerfield as supplier, Mr. Chairman. So sa pagkakataon po na ito, hayaan niyo pong ibigay ko yung summary findings natin sa lahat ng dokumento na naisumite po sa amin ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Dito po pagtitibayin natin o babanggitin natin yung mga provision ng ating tax code na maaaring na-violate or dapat bigyang pansin dahil may kaukulang penalty o sanction ang paglabag dito. Ang una po yung Section 248B ng tax code, yung pag-claim po ng mga deductions na higit sa 30% dun sa totoong or valid na mga deductions, meaning yung pagdadagdag po ng mga deductions na or purchases na hindi suportado ng dokumento, ng resibo o ng mga lehitimong supplier. At yung Section 255 po, ang failure to supply correct and accurate information. Malinaw po sa ating tax code na ang mga officers or board of directors kasama ang mga employee o accountant na may pananagutan sa pagre-report nito ay liable sila. At ano yung mga findings na nakita po natin base sa audited FS at sa mga tax returns, andito po yung unsupported expenses na lumagpas po sa 47% yung unsupported, yung 32 million over declaration ng expenses. Ibig sabihin, more than 44% po ay hindi rin po suportado o ito ay lagpas sa actual na expenses na kinlaim nila. Yung 1.3 billion under declaration ng expenses, 74 million unaccounted cash, 60 million undisclosed payables, 33 million unsupported or no disclosure or wala pong certificate of donation dun sa kanilang kinlaim na donation, at ang 13.9 million na sinupply ni Tiger Phil ay hindi rin po nadeklara. So yan po yung mga sakop nitong Section 248B at Section 255 ng ating tax code. At base din po sa ating tax code, ito po ay may statutory offenses or penalties na aabot sa 10 milyon na penalty at pagkakakulong hanggang 10 taon, at ang hindi at ang failure to file return or pagsusupply ng tamang information ay punishable din po hanggang 10 taon na pagkakakulong, Mr. Chairman. Pagdating naman po dun sa ibang kumpanya, Section 257 pa rin ng ating tax code, making false entries, records or reports, or using falsified or fake accountable forms. Ito po yung mga Pharmally Pharmaceutical Company, kasama ang kanilang board of directors, auditor, pati po yung nag-prepare ng FS. Paihong Realty Corporation, kasama ang kanilang auditor. Pili Holdings, kasama ang kanilang officers at auditors, Mr. Chairman. Yan po ay meron din parehas na statutory offenses and penalties. Idudugtong ko lamang po dahil napag-usapan natin nung previous hearings kung ano ang pananagutan ng auditor at nung in-outsource na bookkeeper at nag-prepare ng FS. Malinaw po sa ating tax code na kung ang may pananagutan ay ang certified public accountant, pwede pong ma-revoke ang kanyang lisensya. At kung ito naman ay may mga foreigners, pwede pong ma-deport immediately after serving the sentence. Ibig sabihin po, babayaran muna yung penalty, yung buwis na dapat bayaran, may penalty at kasama pa rin po doon yung pagkakakulong, then i-deport po sila immediately kung foreigners po yung involved. Para naman po doon sa nag-prepare ng FS, as FS preparer, pwede rin pong makansela o masuspinde ang kanyang CPA license, Mr. Chairman. Dugtong ko lamang din po yung iba pang kumpanya na may open cases. Ulitin ko po, pag sinabing open cases, hindi po sila nakapagsumite o nakapag-file ng mga tax returns sa BIR. At ito po ay base sa report na sinumite ng BIR, Mr. Chairman. So, nandyan po ulit si Green Trends na hindi talaga nag-file kahit income tax return, si DCLA Plaza, si XRL Holdings at si Yangtze Group Trade. At ito pong 6 na tao na to, Mr. Chairman, si Jason Uson, Rose Nonolin, Yang Hongming, Lin Wei Xiong, Yusin Zeng at Gerald Cruz, sila po yung mga common directors sa iba't ibang kumpanya na may mga open cases din po, Mr. Chairman. Ano po ang ibig sabihin kung hindi nakapag-file ng return? Mr. Chairman, pag hindi po nakapag-file ng return at napatunayan na may operation o may kinita yung tao, yung kumpanya, at ito ay lumagpas sa 30% na under declaration, pasok po ito kagad, prima facie evidence ng tax evasion po yan. At malinaw po sa ating tax code, ito ay criminal violation na may multa hanggang 10 milyon, karagdag sa dapat na buwis na bayaran, at may penalty na 50% surcharge at 12% interest bawat taon. At may pagkakakulong ng 6 hanggang 10 taon, kasama po lahat yan doon sa tinatawag na statutory offenses and penalties. Pero sa Section 253 of the Tax Code, Mr. Chairman, meron pong dinagdag yung ating tax code. Kapag ang involved ay foreigner, may karagdagang deportation immediately. I-deport po kagad pagkatapos bayaran ang mga multa at iserve yung pagkakakulong. Kung public official naman po, whether elected or appointed, ito po ay may dismissal, shall be dismissed from public service at may perpetual disqualification from holding any public office, to vote and to participate in any election. So ibig sabihin po, kahit in-appoint lang po siya, hindi na po siya pwedeng ma-appoint kapag napatunayan na siya po ay may criminal violation ng ating tax code. At kapag CPA naman po, may revocation po ng CPA license. Idudugtong ko lamang din po, Mr. Chairman, na sa previous hearing na binigay din pong report ng BIR na invalid po o wala pong record si Ms. Crisel Mago at si Gerald Cruz. Ito din po ay punishable ng Section 255 na may kasamang pagkakakulong hanggang 10 taon, Mr. Chairman. At sa lahat po ng dokumento, wag po natin kakalimutan, Mr. Chairman, na ang mga tax return po ay pinipirmahan ng taxpayer or ng authorized representative. Ito po ay subject sa perjury. Ibig sabihin po, kapag ka po sila ay nagsinungaling o hindi tama ang mga numero o mga impormasyon na nilagay nila sa kanilang tax returns, ito po ay punishable ng revised penal code, at ito po sa Republic Act 11594, ito po yung pinaka-recent na pinasa ng Kongreso at Senado. Dinagdagan po yung multa. Maliban po sa 6 to 10 years na imprisonment, if the person who committed the act is a public officer or employee, he or she will also be slapped with a fine not exceeding 1 million pesos, as well as perpetual disqualification from any appointive or elective government post. So yan po yung penalty po sa perjury or hindi pagdedeklara ng tamang impormasyon, whether under oath or sa kanilang tax return, Mr. Chairman. Kaya mahalaga po na base po sa mga dokumento na ating pinag-aralan at sinumite ng finorward ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, maunawaan po ng ating mga kababayan at ng mga miyembro ng committee kung ano po yung mga obligasyon or accountability ng mga taong involved dito sa investigasyon na to, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Mayor, if Senator De Leon would like to question, I have some questions, but I will give way to the Minority Floor Leader muna.
Mr. Chairman, I was wondering, we made a request to the BIR to conduct a fraud investigation on the basis of these findings of our resource person, which we were informed, which we received before, and it is principally because of his findings that we asked the BIR to conduct a fraud investigation. May we know if we have any report from the BIR, as we have requested them to report? I recall that they asked that they be given until December 31 of last year. May we know if a report has been submitted by the BIR to the committee?
As far as this representation is concerned, Your Honor, we have not received any report whatsoever. And that's why I'm very, very concerned, and that's why I hope that it falls down on the table of the President to order. In fact, there is judicial notice of what is happening here. And the Ombudsman, the Secretary of Justice should know what's happening here. The NBI should know what's happening here. The BIR should know what's happening here. We've asked them. And you and I, during the budget hearing, I've already requested them, the Customs Department as well as the BIR, to submit to us their reports. And even the COA was asked to submit the report. The COA is now saying that they will submit it on March, which is kind of late. And that's why one of the reasons why we're not foot dragging here. We want to make sure that the public is satisfied with the long investigation they've conducted. And so far, I'm very, very proud of the committee members, of Mr. Abrea and the Minority Floor Leader and all those who attend these hearings, the Senate, because it shows clearly that a lot of violations of law have been perpetrated. This last one on the screen right now is part of the law that I filed, increasing the penalty for perjury. If you will recall, Minority Floor Leader, that we increase the penalty for perjury dramatically. So when they lie, that's an additional penalty. But that is my answer, Your Honor, before I ask Mr. Abrea some more questions.
Yeah, okay. Under the circumstances, Mr. President, this leaves the committee with no other choice except to proceed, make our findings on the basis of what we have on the record. Similarly, you have mentioned, Mr. Chairman, the Commission on Audit. I had the opportunity to ask Chairman Aguinaldo in the commission appointment during the confirmation hearing of one of the COA commissioners, and I asked him exactly where the audit investigation result is forthcoming. He said end of March, and he's retiring, by the way, February 2, Mr. Chairman. So, I mean, so the chairman of the COA is completing his stint on February 2. So again, unfortunately, the executive branch and COA has not helped us any in this investigation, and we owe it to the Filipino people to submit our findings without the aid of the officers primarily mandated to look into this. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I have not been informed of your plans as to when to terminate these hearings and submit a report, but we take note of the findings of our resource person on particularly on the matter of the tax liabilities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. As usual, the remarks of the minority floor leader is quite present and very, very intelligent. And I just want to point out that I was in discussion with the Senate President this afternoon when we met each other in Batangas for a meeting of the cooperatives there. And we discussed this matter, and he's aware that we're ready with our investigation report, except only for these few things that that we're waiting for, the BIR, the COA, which would really clinch it for us. But even without them, I think we can go ahead and make that report. But upon the other hand, can you hear me, Minority Floor Leader? Yes. On the other hand, we are also very concerned that this is a matter of primordial importance. Napakahalaga nito sa bayang Pilipinas. Kahit na saan po ako magpunta, tinatanong po ako tungkol dito sa Pharmally sapagkat talagang talamak na talamak ang korupsyon na ginawa dito at naghihintay sila na dapat may makulong dito at may maparusahan. At nakikiusap ako, dyan naman si Mike Aguinaldo ngayon, at nag-a-apply rin siya sa Korte Suprema. Ako'y bumoto pa nga sa kanya doon sa Korte Suprema, Mr. President, Mr. Minority Floor Leader, na maging Supreme Court siya, na walang kapalit yun. Pero nag-aalala ko na ito ay hinahabol natin at the risk of my life, practically. And I say this because ito, sa preliminary statement ko, hindi ko na nga binasa, nakalagay dyan, sinasabi ng Pangulo na ako'y bababuhin niya hanggang ako'y mamatay. At nakalagay din dyan na sinasabi niya, pag hindi ka na senador, mag-ingat ka dahil maraming papatay dahil sa mga inabuso mo. Those are very harsh remarks, Mr. President, na nakakatakot pakinggan. Pero siyempre, tungkulin lang naman po ang ginagawa ko. Kung magagalit kayo dahil ginagapan kong tungkulin, katulad ng sinabi ko, my duty to my country comes first before friendship or any other relationship, because the people have the right, baka sakaling magkaroon ng catharsis ang bansa dito sa kasong ito. Dapat napakalaki ng kasong ito. Ngayon lang tayo talagang nabulat-lat ang talagang lumabas ang bituka, ang dinuguan ng mga nagwawalang ya dito sa gobyerno. Kaya ito po ay pinapakiusapan ko na sana matulungan na tayo ng BIR at saka ng COA. Pero kahit di namin kayo kailangan kung talagang tutusin. Ilalabas namin dahil sa tulong na nakuha namin, nakalat namin ebidensya na namalinaw na from the very beginning, and I'm sure the Minority Floor Leader and other members will bear me out, this has been filled with evasion, umiiwas, nagsisinungaling, umaatras sa bante, nagtatago, lumilipad ng ibang bansa, at outright sinungaling. At ito po ang gusto ko sabihin, papahingi ko lang ng paliwanag at doon sa kay Mr. Abrea. Ang lumalabas dito, yung perjury, malinaw, ano po? Nag-umpisa tayo sa uli. Pero kung ilalagay sa harap, lumalabas ba? Pakilagay nyo how doon sa unang slide nyo, kung pwede, para maliwanagan sa Tagalog. Lumalabas, ang lumabas dyan ay ang laki-laki ng tax deficiency na hindi binayaran. at lumalabas na meron mga maaring fake na mga bagong kumpanya, lalo na sabay halos na nag-file ng corporate documents sa mga yan. Ang Pharmally, same year. Ang pagitan, 2 linggo lang, hindi po ba? Yung Acme
Yes,
at
Mr.
saka,
Chairman.
yung Acme at saka yung Evermore, sabay sila halos. Pero lumalabas, walang may paliwanag na maaring lumalabas nga na hindi nila may paliwanag kung saan napunta yung mga pera at lumalabas na maaring wala naman talagang dineliver. Ginamit lang papel ito para may pinalabas sa deliver. Totoo po ba yan?
Base sa mga dokumento, Mr. Chairman, lumalabas po walang lehitimong suppliers kasi po yung 3.4 billion unsupported, hindi po nila na-identify kung sino yung supplier, hindi na-report sa BIR. Yung ni-report po nila na Evermore at Acme, ngayon po ay nagiging questionable dahil nga po bagong kumpanya din po sa same week, same month na rehistro ng 2019 pero wala din pong record sa BIR o wala din pong nabayaran tulad din ni Green Trends na supplier din ni Tiger Film, Mr. Chairman.
Pero hindi po ba lalabas na napakasimple kung may supplier ka, may papakita mo kagad yung supplier mo. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Pero wala sila may pakita supplier. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So, maaaring talagang peke yung dinasabi nila para magpadala kunyari ng produkto pero wala namang produkto pero binayaran ng gobyerno. Tama po ba yan?
Base po sa dokumento, Mr. Chairman, yes po.
Hindi lang fake news, kundi ghost supplying. Tama po ba yan?
May posibilidad po, Mr. Chairman.
Hindi may posibilidad. Lumalabas sa katotohanan dahil ang lumalabas sa datos, wala sila may pakita kung saan ang galing yung supply. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
At nakikita ko kumakaway sa akin si Senator Dillon. Yes, Senator Dillon, please go ahead, please.
Yes, in relation to this Evermore and Acme Pinnacle and the partners that are indicated in the screen, namely Teresa Niendre, Silvia Herange, Melanie Busime, Roxanne Sirentas. In addition to what you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, I do recall that I requested the committee to issue subpoenas and invitation for these personages because I precisely suspected that these are ghost deliveries. Mr. Chairman, our office, Sergeant at Arms, reported that these people cannot be found. There are no address. There are no the addresses given are not non-existent. So that only strengthens the suspicion that these are ghost deliveries because we cannot find these addresses. The addresses are forged and fake. And I asked our resource persons, Mr. Targani and where the documents are. They said, you know, it's in boxes. We do not know where they are. So that is why inevitably we cannot avoid the conclusion that the circumstances would point to fictitious transactions insofar as Evermore and Acme are concerned because of what I have enumerated. So, Mr. Chairman, this is something that we should really bring out for our people to understand why we have gone deeply into this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President, I'm sure the minority floor leader will agree with me. Now I'm calling on the President of the Philippines right now, without any malice aforethought. Na nakalagay sa hearing notes natin today, December 27, 2022. Ito po, i-quote ko lang. COA report for calendar year 2020 on the DOH, pages 125 to 127, paragraphs 114 to 153. And I call at the attention of our President who took an oath to protect the Filipino people. Nakalagay dito, and I quote, "Its conditions," itong mga kondisyones na ito, coupled with leniency, kasama na ang maluwag na pananaw ng central office and operating units in complying with pertinent rules, have caused doubt, nagdala ng duda on the existence. Kung talagang totoong ito mga assets at saka exposes na ito ay due to loss or wastage. Ayan sinasabi. Of the said assets and exposes them to loss or wastage. So, talagang lumalabas talagang spurious, wala talagang dineliver, Mr. Secretary, Mr. My dear colleague, Senator Dillon, and that really more or less substantiates what our good resource person, Mr. Abrea, has spoken about. Would you agree, Mr. Abrea?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Now, having said that, nakita ninyo itong Evermore Acme, itong Teresa Niendre, hindi totoong tao. Lumalabas, Sylvia Herenge, hindi totoong tao. Melanie Busime, hindi totoong tao. Roxanne Seritas, hindi totoong tao. Mga peke lumalabas, wala nagpapakita, mga multo. In other words, ang ibig sabihin niya, niloloko talaga tayo nitong Pharmally na pinalalabas nila may mga supplier pero wala talaga supplier. Tama po ba yun? We can conclude that, right, Mr. Abrea?
Base po sa mga dokumento, Mr. Chairman. Yes po.
That's right. I'm only basing it on the documents. Now, when you also look at the habit, nakita natin ang sinagot ni Lincoln Ong nung araw, una natin sa tanongin, meron ba nag-supply sa China? Ang sinagot nila, nagpaligoy-ligoy muna, pero inamin niya later on na ang nag-supply sa kanila ay yung tinatawag nilang Tiger Fill, correct? At nung naglabas yung Tiger Fill, lumabas later on na yung Tiger Fill kinuna sa Green Trench. Yung Green Trench, halos lampas ng 90. Ang tawag natin doon, yung
Open cases, Mr.
open
Chairman.
case ng BIR. Merong mga talagang suspensya at ino-open case para habulin at hindi pa nahahabol. Ibig sabihin, peke na naman. At ang lumalabas, yung sa ginagawa nilang yan, ay talagang peke lahat ang ginagawa. At tapos, ito pa, nahuli pa ang tinatawag nating Tiger Fill na kulang ang binayad na buwis at dagdagdag pa sila ng bayad ng buwis na humigit kumulang sa 1.7 million ang dinagdag na kakulangan sa buwis. Yan ang nasa ebidensya na nakuha ng committee. So talagang pandoloko, peke ang mga nagsusupply, walang dumarating. Lalo na kung idadagdag mo. Yung sinabi ng ating testigo na si Mr. Ocampo. Di ba si Mr. Ocampo yun? Na hindi niya lang tinitingnan. George Mendoza, na ang utos sa kanila, huwag mo nang tingnan. Hindi na nila tinitingnan yung dumarating kung talagang may laman yung dumarating galing sa China. Sinabihan sila na huwag mo nang tingnan at mamadali tayo, kailangan madala kagad. So hindi natin alam kung dumating talaga yung mga produkto na yan at nakatitiyak ako, bihira ang dumating dyan sa mga produkto. Talagang niloko, Mr. President, kayo ng batang inappoint nyo na si Lau, niloko si Lau at kasama siya, kasabot siya dito sa Pharmally, kasabot siya ni Michael Yang na inyong inappoint bilang minister advisor ninyo, kasama si Lin Wenxiong na ngayon ay nagtatago, kasama sila Wong, sila Nono Lin at yung mga taong kasama nila na nagpalaki ng negosyo. Yan ang lumalabas. Now let's go to the next page. Mayroong certification dito that Green Trends Trading is not a registered business entity of Barangay Balingasa. Based on our record, no barangay clearance was issued under the name of Green Trends Trading International. Pawang kasinungalingan, samantalang lumalabas, nag-abenga ito itong
9 million
amended
pesos.
its 2020 ITR and paid additional 859,000 to report the 19.2 million sales to Pharmally and 18 million purchases from Green Trends. Pharmally did not declare its purchases from Tiger Fill. Mali ako kanina, hindi pala 1.7 million, 859,000 ang dinagdag pa nila. So lahat pawang kasinungalingan, pawang mali na hinahabol pag nahuhuli. Yan ang lumalabas. Ito lang, pahinang ito pa lang yan, ha? O, kung naiintindihan na mamamayan, ililipat ko sa second page para maintindihan natin lalo at papatulong lang ako kay Mr. Abrea para maintindihan natin maigi ito. Next slide, please.
Ano po yung Mr. Chairman? Yung
ito na yung green trends, no? Pharmally. Ito na ngayon, yung 8.8 billion goods delivered versus 7.5 billion sales reported. Total cost of goods delivered to PSDBM per delivery receipts dito sa kabila ay 7 billion, dito sa kabila 7.2 billion. Pero ang unreported sales ay 1.3 billion in 2020 dito sa kaliwa. At dito sa kanan, 1.3 billion. Ano po ibig sabihin yan sa Tagalog?
Ibig sabihin po niyan, Mr. Chairman, dun sa diniklara ni PSDBM na natanggap nila na inventaryo or goods mula kay Pharmally, 7.5 billion lamang po ang diniklara na sales ni Pharmally, kahit 8.8 billion po yung binenta sa kanila. Tapos lumalabas din po doon sa 8.8 billion na sinabing sales o binenta kay PSDBM, hindi po sapat yung inventaryong dineclare. Meron pa rin pong kakulangan. Kumbaga malaki po yung lumabas na nabenta pero wala naman pong sapat na inventaryong ibebenta base po dun sa records nila, Mr. Chairman. So ang unreported po ay 1.3 billion sa sales, ganun din po sa purchases, kulang din po ng 1.3 billion, Mr. Chairman.
Pareho 1.3 billion. Sa mga katuwid, talaga may house out talaga. Kami kalokohan talaga na ginagawa. At hindi natin alam kung talaga na-deliver pati yung 7.5 billion at 7.2 billion dahil hindi naman nasisita talaga ng gusto. Tama po ba yan?
Base po dun sa kakulangan ng impormasyon sa mga suppliers o kung legitimate yung mga suppliers, yes, Mr. Chairman.
So talagang niloloko ang bayang Pilipinas. Napakasakit. At yan ang nangyayari. Can you turn the next slide please para mapaliwanag natin maigi? Meron pa bang slide, Mr. Abrea?
Ito na po yung iba't ibang material misstatements sa kanilang audited FS, Mr. Chairman.
Yan na yan. Yung mga dapat nakalagay dyan, audit findings, summary to section 248B of the tax code, claiming of deduction in an amount exceeding 30% of actual deductions. Lumalampas sa 30% ng actual deductions ang kiniklaim nila. May katawilan na doon. Section
Ito po
20
ay prima facie evidence of tax evasion, Mr. Chairman.
Prima facie evidence of tax evasion. Talagang malinaw na ayaw magbayad ng buwis at talagang umiiwas magbayad ng buwis. At ito ngayon, Section 255 of the Tax Code, failure to supply correct and accurate information. Hindi sinasabi kung ano ang katotohanan. At sino-sino yan? Si Wang Suyen, yan ang presidente ng kumpanya. Ayan o, si Moy Dargani, nagbibigay ng kotse, hindi binabayaran yung VAT. Si Lincoln Ong, gano'n rin, 16% shares, gano'n rin, Twinkle Dargani, walang dinideklara. Si Justin Garado at saka si Crisel Grace Mago. At ang findings dito ay 3.4 billion unsupported expenses, due sa 47% na purchase inventory, 32 million over declaration of operating expenses, sumobra ang deklarasyon, 1.3 billion ang declaration of expenses, hindi nagpapakita ng expenses, kapos ang dinideklara, 74 billion unaccounted cash, sana punta yung cash na yan, hindi pa napaliwanag, 60 million undisclosed trade payables, hindi na natin malaman kung talaga nagbayad ng trade payables o hindi. 33 million unsupported, no disclosure for donation made. Pag nagbigay, dapat may buwis. Hindi pinapakita. Pag nagbigay ka ng kotse, dapat may buwis yan, na VAT at lahat. 13.9 million under declaration of expenses from Tiger Field. Sa Makatwid, Lutong Macau, itong ginawa ito. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Brea?
Material misstatements po sila, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. So talagang hindi lang tayo niluto sa ating mantika, talagang nilaspag na talaga ang kabambayan ng gobyerno natin. Next slide please. Ito na ngayon yung mga making false entries, records or reports. Ito, maganda ito. Or using falsified or fake accountable forms. Sino-sino liable? Kung Suyen, Pharmally Pharmaceutical Company Board of Directors. Ayan, si Moy Dargani, 30% shares. Lincoln Ong, hindi nagpapakita ng kanilang mga entry sa tunay at ang report nila ay falsified. Katulad doon si Moy Dargani, kunyari kumuha ng eroplano. O, tatanungin ko nga si Moy, sumagot ka nga. Sino yung Morris Dennis ba yun? Morris Daniel. na kumuha ng eroplano, pinahiram ka ng eroplano. Sagutin mo nga, Mohit. Isasakyan mo, tatakas ka, pupunta ka doon sa Malaysia o sa Dubai. Sinabi mo na yung pangalan nun, di ba? Maurice Daniel. Sino yun? Pakitanggal mo na yung mouthpiece mo para maintindihan ka at hindi maintindihan, please. I'm sorry, I cannot understand you. Can you move closer to the microphone? Ano? I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Sino yung Maurice Daniel? Can the guard there please answer for him because I cannot understand him? Yung guardia dyan. Hmm? Mr. Dragani, who is Maurice Daniel? Totoo bang tao yan? Dr. General, can you call the security in Pasay City Jail para paliwanag na yung sinasabi dahil hindi ko maintindihan yung sinasabi?
Yes, Your Honor, we will try to contact them, Your Honor.
Ayan na, may tao na dyan. Anong sabi niya? Anong sagot niya doon sa Maurice Daniel? Sino yon? Anong pangalan po ninyo, yung gwardiya? Sino ba kayo? Abogado ba kayo? Can you get the phone, Mr.
That one.
Can you interpret, Director General? This is very important.
Your Honor, we're trying to check the connection kasi nag sound check kami kanina, maayos naman. We're checking with the Pasay City Jail, Your Honor.
Kung hindi maayos yung sound, gamitin na lang natin ang cellphone dyan. Who is Maurice Dargani? Maurice Daniel.
Hello, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, now it's clear. Who is Maurice Daniel? He is the one that got you the plane, correct? Yes or no? Sinabi mo na yan ang kinuha mo, si Maurice Daniel. Yes or no? I can hear you. Who is Maurice Daniel?
Pinakilala po siya sa akin ni Mr. Gary Wong sa WhatsApp group po.
Maurice Daniel. Yan ang sinabi mo ang pangalan na pinakalala sa'yo ni Gary Wong, correct? Nasaan na siya ngayon?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Nasaan na siya ngayon?
Di ko po.
Ha? Saan mo siya nakilala? Sa Singapore o dito sa Manila? Sa bar? Saan mo nakilala? Yan ang nag-front ng money. Dapat $150,000 pero kunyari $50,000 dahil hindi kayo umabot sa Dubai. Umabot kayo hanggang KL. Tama?
Sa WhatsApp ko lang po siya na
Paano?
sa WhatsApp ko lang po siya nakilala po.
WhatsApp. Okay, ang pangalan mo, Mohit Dargani. Ang ginamit mong pangalan ay Morris Daniel, MD, pareho. In other words, ginawa mo lang yung pangalan pero ikaw talaga yon.
Hindi po, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, layo naman eh. Mali ka bang papautangin ng tao na kilala mo lang sa WeChat? Paperaman ka ng $50,000 o $150,000 tapos ay ilalagay yung pangalan Morris Daniel. Ang pangalan noon ay Mohit Dargani, MD. Hindi kami mga tanga dito. Magsabi ka na ng totoo. Tingnan mo yan. Any declaration, written and order stated required under this code shall in lieu of a note contain a written statement. Persons who commit perjury will face a higher penalty of prison mayor. Magsabi ka na ng totoo. Ikaw yun, di ba? Ginagawa mo lang yung pangalan na Morris Daniel.
Hindi ko po kilala si Mr. Morris Daniel. Pinakilala lang siya sa akin ni Mr. Gary Wong as tao niya.
Pero yun ang pinangalan na nilagay mo, Morris Daniel. Aka, ang pangalan mo ay Mohit Dargani.
Nagkataon lang po siguro.
Nagkataon lang. Okay, salamat. Ilan naman gusto ko marinig. Palagi ka naman na ang layo-layo ng mga sinasabi mo. So, ayan. Balik natin doon sa sinasabi kanina ni Pakilang Ray Abrea. Please return it to the previous slide. Ayan. Wang Su, Boy Dargani, Lincoln Ong, Twinkle Dargani. Ang sinabi mo, nilagay ka lang presidente. Justin Garado, nawala na yan. Eliminado Sebial, ang daming kasinungaling ang ginagawa. Outsource bookkeeper, si Jeff Mariano. Si Jeff Mariano pa, dapat magsabi na ng totoo yan. Paihong Realty Group Corporation, Board of Directors, pare-pareho kayo dyan. Si Jason Uson. Rose Dorolim, kasama si Rose Dorolim doon sa Pharmally Biological Corporation na nasama doon sa Singapore, sa Taiwan. Registered holders sa Singapore company. Tapos kasama na naman siya dito sa Pharmally. So magkakasama talaga. Isang buhat lang kayo. Si Edwin Tan Sigres, Mary Ann Sisi, Evelyn Uitan, Wen Zai Lee, Basilides Mandawi Jr., Yun Paknang, Impiley Holdings Board of Directors, Rose Nonolin na naman, 25%. Jason Uson, Jackson Lau, Yukin Zeng, Hongjing Yan, yan yung kapatid ni Michael Yang. Robic Nono Alcon, kamag-anak ni Rose Nono. Hong Ming Yan, Lin Wei Xiong, asawa ni Rose Nono. Yang Hong Min, ayan, si Michael Yang. Auditor, Filomeno Belinario. Talagang magkakasama kayo eh. Lahat yan, perjurious yung ginagawa ninyo. Magkakasama kayo sa korporasyon. Next slide, please. Ito ang tax evasion talaga. Magmula noong 1999, walang binayad. Michael Yang, could you please answer? Since 1999, you did not pay any taxes, correct? Only in 2018 did you pay taxes. Ang number of open cases ng DCLA Plaza is 95 open cases. Mr. Yang, please answer.
杨先生，你在吗？杨先生，杨先生，
有在。
参议员想问你说，
有在
你从1999年就开始就没有缴纳税款，只有到2019年你的 DCLA Plaza 才开始缴纳税。有听到吗？
我以前来这边也没有领工资，就是也就没有收入，也就没有交税嘛。
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Michael Yang said when he first came to the Philippines, he did not have any salary, so he did not pay any taxes.
Until 2018.
但是到2018年，你都是没有缴税。
以前就是都没有收入就没有缴嘛。
Because I had no income, so I did not pay taxes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, that is your defense. When you go to court, you'll have to defend that. But I think you did not pay taxes. 2018 is a long time. In the meantime, nagkaroon ka ng DCLA Plaza, nagkaroon ka ng Yangtze Group, saan galing yung pera yan? Paano ka
但是
nabuhay? Ang gaganda ng mga suit mong Amerikana, nasa hotel ka. Paano ka nabuhay?
但是从到2018年，你都是没有缴税的。但是你后来还有几间公司，你是如何建立这些公司呢？那个资金是从哪里来的？你是如何生活呢？
很抱歉，我现在目前呢，公司税务 BR 正在调查，我的律师告诉我，在听证会相关的回答，对 BR 的调查对我们不利，我不能回答。
To answer your question, Mr. Chairman, actually our companies are now undergoing BIR audit, and my lawyer has advised me that if there are any questions that would be disadvantageous to me, I would not answer. Since this is already under BIR audit.
Okay, that's your lawyer's advice to you, but you can run, but you cannot hide.
你是可以跑的，但你不能够躲避、逃避。
Yeah, very, very glaring. You did not pay taxes. Tapos meron kang DCLA, meron kang Green Trends, meron kang Pauli. Nagbabayad kayo ng 500,000 pesos doon sa apartment, doon sa bahay sa Forbes Park. And meron kang Porsche. Ano mo pronunciation nun? Frank, wala tayong Porsche. Porsche or Porsche. Anyway, meron kang Porsche. Eh, saan magagaling ang pera yan? At meron pa kayo mga building sa Clarkfield. Tinanong na kita dyan, ang lalaki ng building nyo sa Clarkfield. Ano kayo nangyari na kayo ng pera dyan na wala kayo binabayad na tax?
所以参议员是说，自从这么多年你都没有缴纳税款，但是你有 DCLA Plaza， 有 Green Trends， 还有在 Forbes Park 有一家有在租差不多50万的这个住所，还有很多豪华的名车，所以这些钱还有在 Clarkfield 你们也是有这个建筑，那这些钱是从哪里来的？
现在我的这个公司有跟个人在税务都调查了，我的律师叫我不要回答，这个对我们税务调查对我们是有不利的。
To answer your question, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Michael Yang said that his lawyer has advised him not to answer the question because his company and he himself is also now undergoing BIR investigation. So any questions that, any answers that he may give might be disadvantageous or detrimental to him.
Had no filed annual return until 2019. Wow! Tagal-tagal ang DCLA, 2019 lang kayo nang filed. Diyan lang, huli na kayo. Green Trends, walang pinang-file. XRL Holdings Corporation, hanggang 2020 lang. Yangtze, walang pinang-file. Sa iyo lahat yan. O, tingnan mo yung baba. Pakita mo sa kanya. Persons liable. Common directors and total shares in DCLA, XRA Holdings.
I'll share with you right now options you
Jason
have.
Uson, Rose Donolin, Yang Hong Min, kasama ka dyan. Ikaw yan, Michael Yang. Dinway Xiong, ang asawa ni Rose Donolin. Yukon Zheng, at saka si Gerald Cruz ang nagtatago pa hanggang ngayon. Pabasa mo lang sa kanya, yan ang tatabaan sa BIR.
Or just allowing them to kill you.
所以这些都是你需要去向税务局解释的，因为这些 DCLA Plaza Green Trends XRL Holdings 这些 group 从税款就是从2019年开始报的，其余的年份都没有。还有这些就是刚才参议员有讲的，这些都是你们的股东，所以这些都是你要向税务局解释。
有啊，现在税务局正在调查了。
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the BRIR is now conducting an audit on us.
You know, Mr. Yang, I'm not happy to see people in trouble. I'm never happy to do that. I wish that they would have a better life. Like even sila Mr. Dargani, especially his mother, Mrs. Dargani, I grieve for her. But you know, the law is the law. And it shows that you have not paid your taxes and there are liabilities. You have to pay for that. And there's a penal provision. Makukulong ka dyan.
参议员是想说他不高兴，他不愿意看到任何人 就是有这些在法律上的麻烦或是困境，但是你没有缴纳税款，那是你的责任，这些都是有应当的惩罚，也有可能有刑事上的责任，要负刑事上的责任。
好的，是的，谢谢哈。
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I understand. Mr. Michael Yang said yes, Mr. Chairman. I understand that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I commiserate with you because you really have problems. You look at that. Tax evasion, violations of tax code, fine 500,000 to 10 million pesos. Each violation yan. Hindi lang sabay-sabay yan, ha? Per violation yan. Penalties 50%, surcharge and 12% interest. Imprisonment 6 to 10 years. Additional penalties, name of violator to be included in tax evasion. I did not plan for this, but this is what came out. Yan ang problema ko. Problema mo yan, hindi ko problema yan, pero yan lumalabas. Pinapaalala ko lang sa iyo. Go ahead, tell her that.
所以我只是参议员是想提醒你，这是你所可能要面对的一些刑事上的责任罚款，还有有可能被关6到10年，还有其他的一些法律上的责任。
好的，谢谢哈。
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I understand. Thank you very much.
Tandaan mo rin ito, if the offender is not a citizen of the Philippines, he shall be deported immediately after serving the sentence without further proceedings for deportation.
还有这个很严重的一点，就是如果你是外界人士，如果你不是菲律宾的公民，你将会被立即驱逐出境。如果就是刑事服完以后，有可能就会立即被驱逐出境。
好的，好。
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman.
Ipapakita ko sa iyo, ha. Ito, Chinese ito from Hong Kong, from Macau, actually. Kilala mo ba ito? Ayan, kilala mo ba yan, Mr. Yang?
杨先生，你认识他吗？
这边看不到，这边
sorry,
很
Mr.
模
Chairman.
糊，网络很模糊。
It's very blurry from his side, on his side.
Okay, papakita ko pangalan niya sa iyo. Macau Junket King, Alvin Shao.
这个是澳门的一个赌王，叫做 Alvin Chow，你认识他吗？
我不认识。
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't know him.
Hindi mo siya naririnig?
那你有听过他的名字吗？
有听过，网上有看过，不认识。
Yes, I've heard of him online, but I don't know him personally.
Ano narinig mo online? Yan, bilyonary yan. Tinatago niya yung pera, minamoney launder niya yung pera sa mga sinihan na ginagawa niya mga sine na mga patriotic movies para di siya mahalata sa China. Hanggang sa bandang huli, nahuli siya ng mga Chinese authorities. Kinulong siya at ang kanyang pera umaabot ng bilyon-bilyon. Alam mo ba yan?
所以你知道他的罪他的这个他所犯的罪吗？他有被被告被起诉洗钱，然后利用一些爱国的电影来掩盖他的这个罪行，后来被中国政府逮捕。所以他现在是个非常一个大的人物，他差不多的钱都是数十亿、几百亿、几千亿，你知道吗？你知道他的故事吗？
我不知道。
I don't know his story, Mr. Chairman.
Nagkukwento ko sa'yo, malakas siya nung araw sa Macau. Malakas siya hanggang sa Communist Party of China. Lumabo na kasi pati yung mga Chinese authorities sa mga komunista nagsusugal doon sa kanyang online gambling doon sa Macau. Hanggang nabisto na ng malalaking tao doon at yun, hinuli na sila. Kasama siya, kinulong na siya. Kahit na siya gumagawa ng napakalalaking mga sine, pati siya nag-aartista doon, walang patawad. Dapat ganyan sa Pilipinas. Pag nahuli, walang patawad.
所以这位人物，Alvin Chow 先生，他在中国是个非常 有名的，而且他跟中国共产党有很多中国共产党的人都会去他的那个澳门那个网上参与那个博彩后来他因为被捕了，进病入狱。所以即使他有多大的财产或是多大的可以说能力，但是后来还是被政府机关逮捕。所以相应也是说，我们的法律就应该是这样子的，没有宽容。如果你犯罪了，就应该受到你应当受的惩罚。
Meron pang iba, yung may asawa. Naghiwalay sila mag-asawa. Yung babae, iniwan doon. Nagawa ng libro tungkol sa mga kalokohan doon sa China. Hinahunting siya ngayon sa China. Pero yun, hinahanap siya para ikulong siya. Pero yun, wala rin patawad. Ganito si Bosui. Ano paano isang leader ng China? Si Bosui ka ata yun? Na leader ng China. Na yung asawa niya nakipagtalik sa isang British national. Kinulong na yun. Mataas sa pinuno doon sa China. Parang ng Bosui ka ata. Nahanap ko lang. Pero ganyan dapat ang mangyayari dito. Walang patawad. Pinagbibigyan tayo makapasok sa Pilipinas. Sana naman respetuhin nyo. Hindi ka nagbayad ng tax magmula noong 1999. Hanggang 2018 ka lang nagbayad ng tax. Tapos niyari nyo pa yung pandemic. Kawawa yung mga tao. Kayo nung kaibigan mo si Linwisyo, kasama mo itong si Lau. Kasama mo pati sila Leong. Kasama po yung mga kasama ninyo dyan sa gobyerno. Aabutan rin kayo ng panahon ninyo at paparusahan kayo ng bansang Pilipinas. Dapat lang. Go ahead and translate.
所以参议员是说，自从你来到菲律宾，自从1999年都没有缴纳税款，只有从2019年开始你才有在纳税。所以你利用了菲律宾对你的这个友好的欢迎，对你的友好的态度，让你来菲律宾做生意，可是你回报的是这样子，而且你还利用这个大流行来向菲律宾人民敲诈。所以你跟老先生林伟雄先生还有李勇先生还有很多官员勾结所以这样子你应该是要受到你应当的该得到的惩罚。有听清楚吗，杨先生？
我这个流行这个疫情，我没有去赚政府的钱呐、
Mr.
去税
Chairman。
收的。
Yes, Mr. Chairman, according to Mr. Michael Yang, during this pandemic, I did not earn money from the government.
Well, that is your say, but all the evidence shows you have. All the evidence shows you have not paid your taxes. All the evidence shows that you were part of the mafia that through long washing was collecting the money for you. So that is your defense. I hope you have a good lawyer. And as far as I'm concerned, you are part and parcel of it. And I just want to remind you, lahat yan, malalakas yan. Si Alex Zhao, si Jack Ma, malalakas ka lang, Xi Jinping. Bandang huli, baksak lahat yan. Nakakulong rin at nawala na sa power ngayon si Jack Ma. So ganyan rin ang mangyayari sa'yo kung sakasakali. And I hope matuto ang mga kababayan kong Pilipino na hindi porke malaki kang tao, makakalusot ka sa pagnanakaw mo sa gobyerno.
那是你说的，但是我们所有的证据都表明说你没有缴税，还有你在这方面就是有参与我们还能够就是刚才参议员有讲说有很多大人物像Jack Ma。还有 Alvin Chow 先生，他们都是大人物，很有权力，但是后来还是被政府逮捕，还是被政府关。所以他是想跟你说，你也要小心，就是要当心。所以你还是有可能被逮捕，还是有可能为你这所犯的罪行担当承担。
And the answer is?
那你的回答呢？
我这个没有什么回答，因为我没有去做这些事情，我也不知道怎么回答。好。
Mr. Chairman, according to Mr. Michael Yang, I don't know how to answer this question because I know that I haven't done these things.
Okay, after so many years that you did not pay your taxes, you've done anything. You've not done anything. All right. So
Answer,
you realize na yun na walang pera sa Pilipinas na 9 billion pesos pa lang, ha? Makakagawa kami ng 3,200 na 4 classroom at 2.8 million each. Yung nawalang pera na 9 billion, makakagawa pa ng 3 tertiary hospitals na 3 billion each. Makakagawa ng 22,500 ventilators at 400,000 each. Makaka-fund tayo ng 6,000 average SRA month times 12 for 72,000 or around 125,000 healthcare workers will be covered for a year. Makaka-fund ng 4.5 million RT-PCR tests at 2,000 pesos each. Makaka-fund ng cash grants, ayuda for 900,000 families at 10,000 pesos each during lockdown. Makakabili tayo ng tinatawag na 6 na C-130 aircraft at 1.5 billion. Kung 2.5 billion, 3 C-130 aircraft ang mabibili dyan. Ganyan katindi yung inyong nakurakot dyan sa Pharmally. Mr. Dargani, I hope you're listening. Kayo lang nagsapasasa ng mga Porsche, ikaw Lincoln, Porsche, si Rose Dono Lim, paggawa kayo ng paggawa ng building, kailangan natin ng mga ospital. Ayan, kinukurakot nyo lang ang pera ng gobyerno. Nakakahiya kayo. And now you even lie. You even lie. You use every artifact or every way upon which you can lie to try to exculpate you. You will not be able to exculpate yourself. And that is why today we thank Mr. Abrera for your very kind explanation kung ano talaga yung mga nabisto natin na talaga walang ghost deliveries covered with the testimony of other witnesses na talagang hindi nagdi-deliver. Pinalalampas yung delivery, hindi na tinitingnan. At nakita ninyo, ang dami pa rin hanggang ngayon nahihirapan dyan sa COVID. And talagang ang babayaran natin sa COVID after COVID, malaki-laki. Hindi makapasok ang mga bata sa eskwela, may price to pay sa education. Nagsimula yan sa China. Tapos sinamantala ninyo yung pagungulimbat dyan sa COVID. Talaga nakakaawa. Ayoko sabihin nakakaawa ang Pilipino, pero dapat ang Pilipino talagang makutsya at magalit at talagang dapat huwag natin palusutin itong mga taong ito na nagwalangya sa ating bayan. Ito ang malinaw na malinaw. Malinaw pa sa araw at gabi na talagang ninakawan ang bayan. Napatunayan na ng Blue Ribbon yan. At ilalabas namin ang report pagkatapos namin makuha itong 3, 4 o 5 taong ito. Pero maglalabas na kami ng preliminary report sa Lunes. Bato-bato sa langit, tabaan, huwag magagalit. At umaasa ako na mga senador ay pipirma. At ako ay nakikiusap sa lahat na panoorin nyo. Sapagkat dyan natin makikita kung tayo ay may spine. Kung tayo ay may paninindigan na ipagtanggol at hindi mapabayaan ang mga kababayan natin Pilipino na ito huling-huli. Huling-huli ang kabuktutan, ang katiwalian, at lahat, kung di babasahin nyo ito, every page, from the accountants na nagsisinungaling, to the Darganis na pinanganak na mayaman, nagnakaw pa, to Lincoln Ong na mayaman pinanganak, assistant ni Michael Yang, translator. Lahat sila, pati si Michael Yang, nakatabi na ang presidente, ang lakas-lakas sa Pangulo, ginamit yung lakas para makulimbat ang bayan natin, pati si Lin Wei Xiong at pati si Rose Nono Lim na ngayon ay tumatakbo pa at nagtatago. Pati ito si Mago na nagsisinungaling na sinabi tinakot siya dito at lumipat doon sa kabilang kongreso na hindi naman lahat ng kongreso na doon na nasa lugar ngayon ay kasalanan, pero nagsinungaling pa rin. Kaya nakita nyo, All these things makes cowards of us all. All these things makes thieves of us all. Nanunod tayo, wala tayong pakialam. Basta hindi tayo aabutan, pero yung mga ganyan, aabot at aabot sa panahon natin, yung paghihirap natin, at yan yung makikita na kung tayo pabaya, tayo lang talaga ang dapat natin parusahan ng ating sarili na magpenitensya tuwing Holy Thursday at talagang pakita ang ating kasalanan sa taong bayan. Yan na nga ho ang ating nakikita. Mga pati sinungaling, ang lusot na lusot. Yan ang lusot na lusot, yung mga dargani. Ito ngayon ang nakikita ko. Malinaw na malinaw dito. Tayo ng mga first page ito. Ang nangyari dito sa atin ay napakalaking katiwalian at lumalabas na ito, ang sinasabi ko nga, salus populi es suprema lex. The welfare of the people is the highest law. Hindi ako nagsabi niyan. Bata pa ako sa Ateneo, sa Latin, yan ang pinag-aaralan namin. Yung welfare of the people, dapat ang pinakamataas. Dapat talaga, huwag natin pabayaan ang ating bayan. That quote might seem trite or hackneyed to many. But if we really think hard about it now, more than any time in our history, we need to be reminded of this. Why are we here in government? Ba't pa tayo nasa gobyerno? Sa totoo lang, ako, ayoko na eh. Dami ko naman na nagawa dito sa bayan natin. Magmula pa nung ako'y con delegate, naging mayor ako ng 12 taon, marami akong ginawa sa Olongapo. Nag-chairman ako ng Subic, na-save natin yung Subic, hindi ninakaw. Nag-volunteer ang mga tao, tapos pagbibintangan ka pa ng kung ano-ano. Okay lang yan, kaya ko lahat yan. Hanggang pumunta ako sa tourism, nabuhay natin ang tourism. Hanggang pumunta ako sa Senado, hanggang 53 years na ako sa Red Cross. Ngayon, nagagawa kami ng mga bahay. Ito sa mga nasananta, pagkatapos namin kumuha ng 80,000 na bahay sa Yolanda at magbigay ng kabuhayan. Ngayon naman dito sa Odette, araw-araw, yan ang pinagkakaabalahan namin na mabigyan ng yero, mabigyan ng pagkain, mabigyan ng mga kumot, blanket, yung mga tao doon. That is why we are in government. That is why we're in public service. That's why we seek to be elected to public office. Hindi para gawin negosyo yung public office. Mangulimbat tayo. Na kung magkamisan, pati anak natin, kapatid natin, ilalagay natin para naging negosyo na yung gobyerno sa ating mga kapatid, sa ating mga anak. Many will say to serve, but that can be too vague and too general. It is my belief that we are here, we have sought public office for those elected, or we have accepted to be appointed to office because we have the intention of exercising our zeal for the commonweal. Yung kabutihan pangkalahatan ang hinahabol natin. With the intention to uphold the highest law. Kaya pag may pinatay, ipaglaban natin. Ipaglaban natin, huwag natin pabayaan. Si Fiscal Mendoza na binaril habang nag-i-skipping rope. Huwag natin pabayaan yung mga West na pinapatay. Huwag natin pabayaan yung kahit na mahirap dahil pinagbintangan drug pusher, papatayin. At yung malalaki nakakatakas. That is the ideal. The 1987 Constitution, the fundamental law that we public servants have sworn to uphold, states among others, Article 2, sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. It does not reside in one person, the president. It is shared with the people to their duly elected representatives na dapat ginagampanan ng tungkulin, co-equal branches of government at ng ating mga hustisya. Nakalagay dyan sa Constitution, the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people. Hindi pagsamantalahan ng publiko, hindi mag-abot para akala natin mabuting tayong tao. Samantalang inaabot natin ay walang ginagawa kundi paasahin ang tao at hindi na matulungan ng sarili. Yan ang ginagawa natin pamumulitika. Ang sinasabi natin ay dapat pagtanggol natin ang bayan. Huwag natin pabayaan. Public office, sabi ng Constitution, is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people. Wala tayong construction company. Kung ikaw ay senador o congressman, wala kang construction company na hinaharang mo yung mga construction ng bayan. Kasama na rin dyan sa mga problemang ito. We should lead modest lives and serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. Act with patriotism and justice. Ang gaganda na salita dyan sa Constitution. Alas, this is not what is revealed in this investigation. Lumalabas, to hire 13,782 health professionals for deployment to underserved hospitals or areas. We can fund the emergency hiring of 16,129 COVID-19 human resources for healthcare workers. Instead of benefits and vital assistance, we could have provided our less fortunate. Pero ano nakita natin? Dapat tinulungan natin na maliliit. Ang nakita natin na ito, ang kamay ng presidente. Pinadaan niya sa kanyang kaibigan matalik na tinapoint niya pa na presidential advisor na si Michael Young. Ang ganda pa ng pangalan, Michael Archangel. Hindi pala Archangel ito. Binantayan lang yung perang makukulimbat doon sa Pharmally. Who orchestrated the amassing of massive wealth into Pharmally, a company that failed the test of legal, financial, and technical capacity. Yan ang nakalagay sa batas. Pumasa ka muna ng legal, technical, at financial capacity to enter into contracts awarded to it in the billions of pesos. Despite admitting initially to only introducing Pharmally to the president and performing no other role, he later admitted, si Michael Young, to introduce the company to Chinese suppliers and guaranteeing payment to the latter. Yun ang palabas. Pero ang totoo, hindi naman pala nag-supply. But we had discovered that Michael Young had performed a greater role than what he had originally admitted. His close business partner, si Lin Wei-Shong na nagtatago pa hanggang ngayon, was, after all, the financial manager. Akala nila hindi natin mahuli. Nakuha ko po yung dokumento sa bangko na tinatago nila na hindi nila ina-admit hanggang mailabas natin yung papel na yan. Na siya pala yung financial manager na kahit na kailangan pwede niyang kunin ang pera ng Pharmally. At ang sagot nga nitong si Mr. Wang na presidente para mabayaran, ma-secure yung kanyang pinasok na pera at yung kanyang pinauna sa kumpanya. At ito lumalabas. Lin Wei-Shong had unfettered access to Pharmally bank accounts. Ayaw nila ipakita yung kung saan napunta yung binayad sa kanila ng Pharmally. Hindi namin mabuksan yung account. Nasaan ang tinatawag natin money laundering? Nasaan ang secrecy of bank deposits na nakita natin? Talamak na ang pagnanakaw sa gobyerno. Dapat makita yan. Pero nakakakita lamang ay si Lin Wei-Shong at saka si Michael Young. Ang kumikita lang si Moy Dargani at saka si Lincoln Ong. And they can perform acts that are consistent with ownership that's telling us that for all intents and purposes, he and Michael Young were the owners of the company or the funds of the company, and the named directors or stockholders were mere dummies. Dummies. Taw-tauhan lang. We are witnesses to the failure of law enforcement agencies. Naku po naman, maawa na po kayo, mga NBI, mga pulis, to help our investigation. Kapuri-puri yung ginagawa ng Senate USAA in the search and arrest of persons who we believe are involved in this gargantuan stealing of public funds. Kayo mga pulis, kayo mga sundalo, kayo mga piskal, kayo ninanakawan ito. And against whom we have issued subpoena or arrest orders, while the NBI, in all fairness, has assisted us in obtaining addresses of persons of interest. The PNP has not, despite previous requests. We acknowledge the contributions of COA. Kulang. Kulang pa. BIR. Kulang pa. Alam ko, ini-intimidate ang COA. Alam ko yan. Lalo na't may darating na appointment sa Supreme Court. Alam ko yan. Alam natin lahat yan. Yan ba'y pinagpapalit para hindi lumabas ang katotohanan? Diretso na po ako magsalita. Wala naman na mawawala sa akin eh. Totoo naman po yan eh. BIR and the Bureau of Immigration in this investigation but we hope that they act more speedily in their own specific examinations. May nagsasabi sa akin, nasa lamesa na raw ng BIR yung mga papel ng investigation report pero hindi pa nilalabas. Sasabi sa akin, nasa COA na, hinihintay lang mag-retire ang ating COA administrator na kaibigan natin. Pero Marso pa ilalabas. Ano mangyayari sa atin yan? The uncovering of heinous acts and the subsequent punishments that can be meted cannot be done by the Senate alone. It has to have the cooperation and help of the other great departments. The state is an organic unity. And the various departments of its machinery are interconnected. By the nature of their functions, they cannot be divided into watertight compartments. The government must always be viewed as a whole, and its organs, though distinct, must work in unison. Isang buhat lang tayo para mag-alis yung katiwalian. Ito na, kasama ang mga banyaga, may Chinese, may ethnic mga Bombay, or Indian, may mga Pilipino, lahat nagmamang-maangan to be useful and effective in serving the purposes for which they have been created. Hence, on COA's part, we look forward to your honorable office to fulfill your adjusted deadline for the results of your special audit. Nilabas nyo na nga yan eh. Kaya lang naman ako napilitan, Mr. Michael Aguinaldo, nung tinitira kayo ng Pangulo. Ang COA hindi dapat tirahin ng Pangulo sapagkat yan ang trabaho ninyo. Kayo magbantay sa katiwalian at pakita yung discrepancy para maiayos. Pero tinitira kayo, sumagot ako, pati Senado tinira ng Presidente dahil doon. Bakit? Bakit kailangan tirahin ng COA? Bakit kailangan tirahin ang Senado? Samantala ginagawa lang naman ang tungkulin ng COA at Senado. In a letter dated 26 January 2022, COA explained that it would be ready with the report by March 2022. Last week of January to first week of February, finalization of audit observations and findings, preparation of audit highlights for exit conference. First week of February to second week of February, proposed schedule of exit conference with PSDBM. Paano nyo makikita pa yung PSDBM? Gusto ko nga tanungin dyan, nandiyan si Mr. Avisado. Wala siyang control sa PSDBM, sinabi niya na yan. And or Department of Health, habang siya ay Secretary of Health, hindi niya makontrol yung PSDBM. Pwede ko pa siya talaga ngayon, Mr. Avisado, nandiyan kayo. Sumusunod ba sa inyo yung PSDBM, Mr. Avisado, nung kayo DBM Secretary? Mr. Avisado? Mr. Avisado, you're still there, I know.
Naka-unmute na po kayo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As I've already mentioned doon sa previous hearings, hindi po nagre-report sa akin ang PSDBM on their operation.
Hindi
And
po,
that is why hanggang administrative supervision lang yung akin pagdating sa mga empleyado. But otherwise, when it comes to operations, sila lang po talaga. Sila nag-approve, sila nagpo-process, at lahat ng mga operational requirements ng PSDBM.
kaya pala sila nakakawala sa koral. Yung bantay na dapat magbantay, piniringan ng mata, tinalian ng kamay para hindi makapakailam at ang pinagmamalaki, nagre-report sila directly sa Presidente. Totoo po ba yun?
Hindi ko rin po masabi direkta dahil I am not a privy to that arrangement po. But everybody reports to the office of the President.
And therefore, the buck stops in the office of the President. Would that be correct, sir? The answer is yes. You're an honest man, I know.
I cannot say that with certainty for lack of direct knowledge and information on that matter, Mr. Chairman.
Well, if we don't know, then where does it end, sir? Where does it end? In heaven? Or in the desk of Satanas?
How I wish I would have personal knowledge on that, Mr. Chairman, then I will really say to where it ends up.
So nakita ninyo, kung hindi gagalaw ang COA, hindi gagalaw ang BIR, tatalian ang kamay at mata ng DBM, aalisin sa kanya yung isang departamento na nasa kanya dapat, hindi siya papayagan makasilip, makabigay ng comment, talagang nakakawala sa koral. Yung mga buhaya na yan, kaya ninakaw ang bayan ng gobyerno, ang pera ng gobyerno, ninakawan ng tao. Ito ngayon, penalization of audit. Ito sabihin ko lang sabi ni Lau, ang personal data statement niya ito, USEC Lau identifies that you as his supervisor, you said that before that Lau is very independent and yet he says in a notarized document, doon sa kanyang personal data sheet, that you are his supervisor. So he is lying, Mr. Secretary. Are you confirming that there are reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Lau is making false statements? Remember, sir, you are under oath. Tinanong ko sa inyo yan noon at ang sabi nyo ay talagang wala kayong hawak kay Mr. Lau. Totoo po ba yun? Pinatutunayan niyo po ba yung sinabi niyo dati?
I admit that, Mr. Chairman, as I've said, my supervision is only up to the administrative matters, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So there really was a big flaw in the government where the dam broke and right away they had a green light to steal money from the government. Nakalagay sa COA report, end of February, finalization of audit highlights after the conduct of the exit conference. End of March, target for completion of report and submission to the committee. It may be possible for the report to be submitted in parts at the sound discretion of the special audit team to avoid delay. Hindi ko rin nga lubos isipan Ako pa pinagbibintangan doon sa Subic na ninakaw ko raw 840 million, ngayon naging 140 million. Wala po akong ninakaw doon, Mr. President. Yun po ay mga sweldo na nag-volunteer na hindi nababayaran, nabayaran po lahat siya. At yun po ang mga binili, meron po ako mga affidavit ng gobyerno ng Amerika na walang katiwalian na binili namin yung mga iniwanan nila doon. At binayaran namin yun, yung binigyan na pera ng gobyerno kasama sila Secretary Singson, kasama lahat, sila Secretary Ocampo dyan. Pero pinagbibintangan ako dahil napikon yung COA doon sa isang volunteer na pizza pie, sinisingil niya. At lumabas, anong pinalitan ako, hindi kami magkasundo ng pabalit, kinasuhan ako, na-dismiss na yan. Ngayon ay inuulit ko 30 years later. Sinasabi ko lang po yan ngayon para maliwanagan ng tao na palagi inuulit ang mga trolls ninyo na ako'y nagnakaw doon. Paano ako magnanakaw? Did we not, the volunteers, give you FedEx? Did we not give you Coastal Petroleum? Did we not give you Acer? Did we not give you all the companies? Wala kayong binayad sa Subic. Nagtatrabaho sa Subic. Pero isipin nyo ang Clark, kaya ako sinama ang Clark doon sa BCDA law, nilaspag. Meron ba tayong hinuli na nagnakaw dyan sa Clark? Nilaspag yan, pati kubeta, pati kuryente, ninakaw, wala akong narinig na kinasuhan. Pero yung nagtrabaho sa Subic, kami pa ang kakasuhan nyo. Excuse me, Mr. President, I'm ready to face that music anytime. Magsinungaling na kayo hanggang gusto nyo. The truth will always set me free. Hindi ko ginagawang personal yan, pero pati nanay ko, minumura nyo. I hope you don't kiss your mother or you never kiss your mother with the lips na ginagamit nyo pag minumura nyo. Pinuputang ina nyo ang Diyos, pinuputang ina nyo ang Santo Papa. Huwag nyo hahalikan ang nanay nyo. I hope hindi nyo ginawa yan, Mr. President. And how about the Chief Law Enforcement Officer himself, as head of the Executive Department? Kayo, Mr. President. He who swore under the 1987 Constitution, I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and conscientiously fulfill my duties as President of the Philippines, preserve and defend this Constitution, execute its laws, do justice to every man, and consecrate myself to the service of the nation. Have we done justice to every man? And we preserve and defended the Constitution instead of yurakan ninyo yung separation of powers. Have you fulfilled your duties as President of the Republic? Instead of living up to his promise to act on the merest whiff of corruption, sa inyo galing yan, whiff of corruption, you immediately exonerate your people without even the barest of inquiries. Minumura nyo kami lahat dito, pati si Senator Dillon, si Senator Tiveros, si Senator Pangilinan. Senator Lacson, pati buhok namin, pati tiyan namin. Well, Mr. President, yung tiyan ko, pinapaliit ko na. Pero bukas, meron pa rin pangit. Hindi mababago yung pangit, ang muka at budhi. Hindi ko na may personal. I don't wanna go down to your level. Pero talaga kung magkamisan, hindi ko maintindihan kung saan galing ang inyong mga values. Worse, you act as Chief Defense Counsel. Kayo ang nagdi-defend sa mga yan, sa mga banyaga, concocting excuses and justifications for those involved, from Secretary Duque, Attorney Lau, Attorney Leong, Michael Yang, etc. May mga litrato pa kayo kasama sila sa Malacanang, sa China. Wala ako sila sabing guilt by association. Kayo lahat ang nag-appoint dyan sa mga yan. Mr. President, where is Christopher Lau? Where are Jason Uson, Sofia Custodio, Dennis Manalastas, Anne-Marie Chua, and Gerald Cruz? They are neck deep in this mess. Andiyan lang ho, si Rose Nono. They're neck deep in this mess and I'm sure you know where they are. And they can be found. Diyan nahuli nga. Si Dargani diyan nahuli sa Davao Airport. Sabihin pa ni Secretary Roque, tumulong kayo sa amin. Hindi po. Nakalabas na po sa Customs and Immigration sa airport ng Davao. Nakasakay na sila sa aeroplano nung hinuli sila ni General Rene Samonte ng USAA. Doon sila nahuli, palipad na aeroplano. Wala akong tinulong sa amin, kundi ilang mga tao nagbigay sa amin ng information mula sa immigration. Marami pa rin mabubuting tao sa gobyerno. And I salute you. Instead of assisting the Senate, the President directed the issuance of a patently illegal memorandum dated October 24, 2021. Ilang beses na natalo sa Constitution yan sa Korte. Banning all public officers in the Executive Department from attending the investigation into this corruption. Bakit? Bakit nyo hinaharang? Hindi ko maintindihan po yan. Ba't hindi nyo palabasin ang totoo? Bakit pinipigil niyo? Bakit ayaw nyo marinig yung katotohanan? Bakit nyo inaaksayan yung programa ng tao? Gabi-gabi na tinitira nyo kami. Alam ng Presidente at mga abogado niyang legal. Yan. On 20 April 2006 in Senate versus Ermita, year number 69777, 69659, 69660, 69667, 69834, and 171246. The Honorable Supreme Court and Bank clearly stated, and I quote, resort to any means then by which officials of the executive branch could refuse to divulge information cannot be presumed valid. Hindi pwedeng sabihin may presumption na valid yung in-order nyo. Otherwise, we shall not have merely nullify the power of our legislature. Mawawala yung kapangyarihan ng legislatura to inquire into the operations of government. That would be disastrous. But we shall have given up something of much greater value, our right as a people to take part in government. Rather than helping the investigators, Mr. President, uncover malfeasance, you discredit a co-equal institution. You try to convince the people not to believe in the legitimacy of the functions of the COA, of the senators, of the Senate. You threaten the chairman and the members of the committee. You raise invectives, ad hominems, etc. Huwag ho kayo maniwala sa mga investigasyon. Sasabihin nyo, investigasyon, kita naman ninyo, walang nangyayari. Meron po. Nakulong ho yung mga brads ninyo. Si Argusino at saka si Robles nakakulong sa Muntinlupa. Ako po ang nagpakulong dyan sa Blue Ribbon. Kami. Pati hanggang ngayon nakakulong pa si Taguba sa Customs. Hanggang ngayon nakakulong pa si Baloyo. Hanggang ngayon, hinahanap pa yung iba. Yan si Asierto at saka yan si Deputy General Colonel ng Pidea. Wala dyan yan. Sa Pidea. Sasabihin niya pa, I would like to remind Senator Gordon that I will campaign against you. Gawin niyo na hula dyan. Hindi ho importante sa akin yung posisyon ko. Ang importante sa akin yung katarungan para sa bayan. Yan po ang importante sa akin. Sasabihin niya pa, anak ka ng P, bantay ka bababuhin talaga kita hanggang mamatay ka o hanggang harapin mo ako. Tapos papiliin kita kung anong gusto mo. Sabi niyo, September 2021. I said there will be a constitutional crisis, quoting you. So I'm ordering the military. Isipin niyo yung sinasabi niyo, lawyer kayo. I'm ordering the military and the police to, as their commander-in-chief, may crisis na tayo. Ikaw ang bahala. You have forgotten that you cannot declare martial law. The courts will remain open, Mr. President. Gordon, sabi niya pa sa akin, ayaw ko lang magyabang, pero remember that you will not be a senator all the time. At hindi na tinatakot. Hindi naman tinatakot, pero bantay ka sa mga tao na pinag-aabuso mo. Dahil darating din ang panahon para sa iyo. Anong tawag niyo dyan? That's a death threat to me. But Mr. President, I'll tell you something. Hindi po ako takot dyan because mas marami ang tinutulungan ko sa dugo na hindi sa inyong sundalo yan. Dugo na kinakalap ng Red Cross para sa mga tao natin. Mas marami akong tinulungan. 151,000 na bahay na hindi nyo tinulungan sa Yolanda at dito ngayon sa Odette. Another 30,000 people ang tutulungan namin sa bahay ng Red Cross. Another 30,000 bibigyan ng ayuda. Another 30,000 people bibigyan ng bed sheets, kama, lahat gagawin po namin. At naglilinis kami mga payloader namin para makapasok yung gagawa ng mga kuryente. 6 na payloader na nandun. 18 water tankers na nagbibigay ng tubig. Wala po akong kaduda-duda na ginagawa akong tungkulin bilang Red Cross volunteer. At yan po, hindi ako natatakot sa pananakot nyo na mag-ingat ako na pag hindi na ako senador. Hindi ko kailangan maging senador. Umakyat po ako sa maluso nung tinanggal ako ni President Estrada. Kinuha ko yung hostage sa Abu Sayyaf in the year 2000. Yung dalawa, pinadala pa ng Presidential Security Guard in May 2017. 2 bata na kinuha ko doon. Nagpayabang pa sa akin na sila raw dahil sa pagkuha ko. Ngayon ay graduate na ng Merchant Marine Academy. I have done my job in this country. The President's protection of people who reek of the putrid stench of corruption, of the people's money, is the greatest disappointment of all. You were my friend once, Mr. President. Alam niyo, nasabihin niyo pa, binigyan ko kayo ng leather jacket ng Federal Express. You were my friend. Alam niyo, ang disappointment ko, inalimutan niyo ang taong bayan. Inalimutan niyo ang proteksyonan ang taong bayan. At ang pinoteksyonan niyo, si Michael Yang. Pinoteksyonan nyo yung mga banyaga na hindi nagbabayad ng buwis. Yan ang pinoteksyonan nyo. Yung mga tao ninyo na hindi nyo masuhito. Ano ba tawagin mo si Mr. Lau? Oy, Christopher, totoo ba yung nangyayari yan? You never called them. You never even asked them. You just convicted the Senate, the COA, that we were all wrong and you were the only one right. Mr. President, those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make them mad. And I can see that happening to you, Mr. President. And I pity you, Mr. President. Failure to faithfully implement the law's Constitution, Article 7, Section 17. The President shall have control of all the executive departments, bureaus, and offices. He shall ensure that the laws be faithfully executed. Have you done that, Mr. President? I admit it was Yang whom I requested to lay. Sabi mo, the ground. Anong lay the ground? Hindi college graduate yan na sinabi pa niya, Princeton, nagsinungaling pa rito yung pala, ibang klaseng Princeton. Sabi niya, do the legwork of by going to China. Bakit? Anong ginagawa ni Secretary Locsin? One of the most qualified Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Anong ginagawa nila Secretary of Foreign Affairs na pinaglalaban niyang West Philippine Sea, Mr. President? Pipihi tayo sa China dahil kay Michael Yang. Ang babaw naman natin, Mr. President. Who is Michael Yang? Hindi nagbayad ng buwis from 1999 to 2018. Yan ang pinakikinggan nyo, Mr. President. Nakakahiya kayo, sabi ni President Marcos nung araw nung tumakbo siya. Ulitin ko, I quote, nakakahiya, Mr. President. Nakakahiya. Kung sa Bisaya, buang. Yan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. Ayoko sabihin yung pisting yawa, pero sinabi ko na pisting yawa. Ito ba? Sabihin nyo, do the legwork of my own going to China and getting into a new deal new relations because of foreign policy ko, nag-neutral ako, parang nakagalaw ako. Tama yan, Mr. President, I will support you, nag-neutral kayo. Huwag naman tayo pipiit na pag sinagasaan yung mga bankero natin sa West Philippine Sea, hindi tayo aangal. Sasabihin pa ninyo, wala akong ilalaban. Papatayin yung mga sundalo ko. Hindi worth it yan. Anong papatayin? Ganyan na nangyari kay Churchill. Nilaban niya ang Britain. Nung nilalaban, kinukuha na ng Hitler ang hindi naman natin kalaban ng China. Pero naman yung pakita na tameme tayo sa China. We saw it coming. 140th anniversary of the Philippine-Chinese Charitable Association Incorporated on June 1927. 17. Sabi niyo pa, ako raw corrupt. Ang sabi ko sa inyo, ginamit ko lang yung sinabi niyo, and I quote, I hate corruption. Hindi ako nagmamalinis. Marami rin akong ninakaw. Kayo nagsabi niyan. Pero naubos na. So wala na. Quote unquote. So wag naman kayong matabil magsalita. This gives me no pleasure. Saying all this, Mr. President, patawarin niyo ako if I say this. For after all, the President I consider once upon a time a friend. And who knows, kung si Estrada naging kaibigan ko rin, si Tom Payuma naging kaibigan ko rin, maybe one day, if you're not guilty, you'll be my friend once again. But I'll tell you, we were both city mayors for a long time and had many pleasant interactions in the past. But I have to tell all and sundry that vexatious this may be. Duty to my country trumps even the closest of friendships. Yung tungkulin ko po sa bayan, baliwala po ang pagkakaibaganan. Unahin ko ang duty ko sa bansa ko. At ganoon rin sila Senator Drilon, ganoon rin sila Senator Pagdinig, sila Senator Lacson, sila Senator Ontiveros at marami pang iba. Maraming salamat po sa mga nanonood at nakikinig. Pasensya na kayo. At ngayon, nilabas ko na ito. Hindi ko po sasaraan itong hearing na ito. Pero ito na po, ilalabas ko na yung report dito hanggang dito. Pero hindi pa po tapos. Sapagkat andyan pa yung hinahanap namin. Yan si Nono Lim. Yan si Lin Wei Xiong. Yan si Gerald Cruz. Lalaki pa ito. Yan si Uson. Yan si girlfriend ni Dargani, si Sofia Custodio. Yan si Manalastas. Marami pa pong lalabas. Hindi ko po tatapusin yan. After all, hanggang June 29 po naman kami. At hindi ko po papalabasin yung dalawa na nagsisinungaling. Lalabas ko niya rin, tapos tatakasan ka, gagastos ng $150,000 para makaroon ng private plane, pupunta sa Dubai. Aba, saan galing ang pera yan? Sa taumbayan. Mr. Dargani, Mr. Morris Daniel, alias Mohit Dargani, MD. Wow. You really insult our imagination. Maraming salamat po sa inyo and may God bless the Republic of the Philippines. And I would like to say thank you to Mr. Abreu, one of the heroes of this investigation, and many others who came out to the forefront. Our fellow senators who spoke out. Natutuwa ako na marami rin lumalabas. Sila Amy Marcos lumalabas. At sinasabi, hindi rin siguro matiis na marami nangyayari kalokohan dyan. Marami rin nagsasalita. Pati sila Mr. Recto. Marami ho dyan. At don't you worry. Lalabas ho ang katotohanan at ito na lumabas na. And I pray for God Almighty that we get blessed by the Almighty, this great republic that is suffering from the pandemic, that is suffering from the typhoon. Mas malaki pa halos sa Yolanda. And I pray that we praise God because pag binura natin ang Panginoon, pinaparusahan tayo ng Panginoon. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat. And the session is suspended and I will call the next meeting and I will announce it. Thank you very much, Senator Drilon, Senator Ontiveros. Thank you to all the witnesses. Thank you, Senator Mr. Piachon. Thank you, Mr. Abisado, yung mga tinawag ko. And thank you to all the others who appeared. Mr. Abreu, all the way from Boston. And thank you, and may all God bless the Republic of the Philippines. And we ask forgiveness for those who sin against God. Session is suspended. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang Panginoon Diyos.
Mr. Chairman, can I say something?